Cigars and green juice. Green eyes and green juice. So we should call this episode.
Green Juice Bandit.
Green Juice Bandit. I like that.
The green juice bandit, brother bandit with the green juice. Have we recording already? Look at that. Well, welcome to Culturally Canceled. I'm Russell Peters. I don't know if you know that. This is my podcast. Very casual. Today with me, sitting in, is my dear friend. I call him my dear friend, but really we've only, it's my first time hanging out with him, but we follow each other on Instagram, and we've met in airports, and we've met in the past. I think like maybe 15 years ago at,
a while ago.
When Wilmer Valderrama used to have that nightclub and everybody's take turns DJing. My friend, the Mike B.
Hello.
DJ, the Mike B.
It is I.
What was your other DJ name?
Mike B.
That's it.
Well, I mean, I have like 5 or 6 other names that I go under. Just Brillstein is like a house project. I have Camo UFOs, which is drum and bass, and then Pools, which is kind of just mellow vibes.
Pool switches?
Pool switches?
Is that what it's called?
No, just Pools.
Oh,
Pools, which is mellow vibes.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. And then we have another DJ. This guy just started. He's very new to the DJ world. He just got a controller. I'm really excited for him.
A toy one at that.
A toy one, yeah. He got the new Mattel. Anyway, the guy who was sitting over on my right, on the right of Mike B, is a man who I quit my job to see in 1986.
Wow.
I was working at KFC, and I had asked for that Sunday off because my favorite DJ in the entire world was coming to Toronto, and I wanted to go see him. And they wouldn't give me the night off. And I went into work, and as I sat there working, I was like, I was at KFC, and I was working and dropping chicken. I was like, you know what? Fuck you, KFC. You may be finger looking good, but you can get the middle finger looking good today. And I just literally went to the bathroom, changed my clothes, and walked out in the middle of the rush. Fuck them, because they wouldn't let me go see my friend. Mr. DJ Cash Money is in the building tonight from Philly.
Hey.
All-time legend.
All-time legend.
It's quite a sandwich to be sitting in, honestly. It's a lot of fame.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you come from a different pedigree too. You didn't grow up in the DJ world.
I did not grow up in the DJ world.
You came up in an interesting world that we all, funny enough, although you may not realize this, but we all know who his dad was and all the movies his dad produced. Do you remember Bernie Brillstein? Brillstein Gray? Remember Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters, yeah.
People know the movies, but they don't know.
See, I thought everybody
unless you're
knew,
like an industry guy or like someone who went to school to become an agent. I don't know if that's a thing, but what?
There's a scumbag school?
Yeah, there's exactly. It's like, hey, do you want to learn how to have a nice suit and be a piece of shit?
Yeah,
right.
But
welcome to douche school.
But I think they make him read his book. And so it's like there's like a cult following, but really it's more behind the scenes. Like I think comics obviously know who he is. DJs don't. That's why
I literally thought everybody knew his name
in the DJ world.
I didn't know that until you said Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Blues
we all
Brothers.
know Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Blues Brothers.
Ghostbusters.
He did Blues Brothers too?
He did the Blues Brothers, Ghostbusters, Summer Rental.
Oh yeah, because he managed Jim Carrey.
Spies Like
John
Us.
Candy, didn't he?
No, he managed. Yeah, he had. I don't know that he managed.
He did because
John Candy.
He co-managed John Candy with a lady in Toronto named Catherine McCartney.
That makes sense. John Candy's son, I'm close with, Chris Candy. He does a show on KXLU.
Is he out here?
And
I didn't know that. I met him and his sister.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're
And
like
when I met them, I started crying.
Yeah,
because I love their
it's heavy
dad so
to
much.
be around him because he looks
And they're
so
such
much
sweet
like his
guys.
father.
Oh, yeah,
and,
it's wild.
And I think we all love John. I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we all have a place in our hearts for John Candy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he did Summer Rental, which was based on my family's trips to the beach.
Really?
So I was played by Joey Lawrence. Yeah.
As you should be. Yeah, you're very similar looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to get Eddie Valdez to play Cash Money in the Cash Money biopic.
You know what?
With the foot like that?
Yeah, all fucked up.
Oh, with the foot and all?
Fucked up foot.
Yeah.
Not
For
even the
those
right
who can't
race.
see, he's got his foot on a knee rover, which I've been wanting for years to get around like Coachella with. Just one leg less work, you know?
You play at Coachella, don't you?
I played near Coachella. So I play like the fancy the parties that people who don't want to go, who don't want to like
those are actually
people
the
who
good
don't want to
parties.
pay to go to Coachella.
Yeah, that's the
but
more
I'm
fun.
a pay to go to Coachella guy. I was always a ticket buyer.
Really?
It's just easier, and then you don't owe anyone anything.
That's true. That's something your dad taught you.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. He's like, when you can buy tickets. You know,
That sounds like handed down knowledge.
he would take us to like
you-
his friends' places and buy things from there. Like it was always more like he wasn't a big asker.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why he was so respected.
I think so. I mean, he was just
He was a very well respected guy.
He was a good guy.
I never heard
And he had little evil guys around
I've
him
been in
to
this
do his
business
dirty
32
work.
years. 32 years I've been in this business. I never heard one person say a negative thing about your father.
I love to hear that. I hear that a lot, and it makes me happy when I hear that because he was very good at keeping his dirty work secret.
Yeah, I mean that's
he
what
was
I mean. That's a
he
sign
was
of a good manager.
Genuinely of a really sweet, caring, wonderful man who everybody loved.
Never got to
But
meet him.
that's
though.
why he had Brad Gray.
I never got to. Yeah, Brad Gray was the Brad guy.
Rest in peace. But yeah, Brad was the cunning evil genius.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens with Jews.
Yeah.
They're like good cop, bad cop.
It is. You get to be the sweet Jew, but you have to have like a little sneaky Jew around you.
Well, I think we got the sweet Jew with us
That's
today.
my problem is I don't have a little sneaky Jew.
Yeah.
So anyone who's out there who's looking to do my dirty work.
Yeah, I have a friend in this business too, another Jewish guy, and his dad created all these great like Charlie's Angels and Mannix and all this.
Right.
And he was telling me that you need, when you go into these situations, it's not about the project you're pitching. It's about who knows who in the room.
Fact.
And they're called the Trustafarians.
Right.
I, in many ways, formerly was a trustafarian.
That is true.
Yeah, you did this shit, didn't you?
Well, a trustafarian, as I understand it, is like a trust fund hippie, right?
Is that what it is? I thought it was just somebody they trusted.
Yeah, no,
Maybe I fully misunderstood the whole
by
thing.
definition, a trustafarian is like. It's like if you wear Birkenstocks and like a reggae no problem on hat, but you live here,
Yeah.
You're a trustafarian.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I completely
So
misunderstood
I've
the
had
entire
brief
thing.
bouts of trustafarianism in my days of wealth.
Yeah.
So what's your definition of the trustafarian?
Well, I thought it. Well, there. It's right there. Look at that.
Trustafarian, a wealthy young person who adopts an alternative life from non-Western cultures.
Wow.
So like the lesser Hanks boy.
Yeah, not Colin.
Yeah.
The one that has the bouts with his baby mama.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly,
talking
yeah.
about, Cash?
What's that?
What's his name? Chet.
Yeah, it is.
Tom Hanks' son, Chet Hanks. He's got like all his baby mama drama shit, and
And I can't even say much because as a sometimes dance hall DJ from Beverly Hills, like I can't weigh in too much on what's
That's
right and
interesting,
wrong
too.
about what Chet Hanks does. But I mean, at the least I'm not. I think we can see the differences.
yeah, I think we see the difference between
he
that.
goes to the gym and I don't.
Well, there's that, and he
And
also
yeah, that's the trustafarianism. I think when you're getting into the third eye pyramid.
Look at the triangle.
yeah, well, there's that, and I also think he gets
And the
meth.
tribal, he's got the
It, look,
rocks
yeah, it looks like he scores meth somewhere too. I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
the
there's
Rock.
not drugs involved.
Oh yeah, his eyes tell a story.
I mean, I've told less long stories than those eyes, but not today.
Oh, Chet. You don't know Chet about the business.
Sweet boy Chet. I don't know much about him other than he does a spot on, patois dance hall rude boy lick shots.
That's so fucking weird.
But
See, I grew up with Jamaicans.
You're Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And so that has a thick
It's
dance hall
heavy
scene.
Jamaican over there. Growing up, when I would DJ parties, I remember trudging through the snow with my records. My friend would be like, yo, my brother's having a party. Bring your records. I'd bring a crate. and I didn't have a car. So we walk in like 2.5 miles, carrying this crate of records in the snow. Then I'd find a shopping cart, put in the shopping cart, and push the shopping cart to the house. Get there, my hands are frozen, my feet are frozen. I'm scared the records are gonna be warped. We get in the basement. The basement's hot as shit because everybody's in there dancing, and I'm like, fuck, my shit's gonna warp.
Right.
Then I bring the records to the DJ booth, and the Jamaican dude looking at me and goes, "Oh, what is?" I go, "Hip hop and R&B." He's like, "Star, we're not playing no blood clot funky music in a dance hall." I was like, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I just dragged this shit here 2.5 miles."
Well, what was Peter Tosh's quote? He was like, "You don't want to hear anybody singing 'Baby, I blood clot love you.'"
It's true.
He
You
was
know Dave
upset.
Lotwin? You know Dave Lotwin?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do, from D&D Studios. You've met him from me.
I got to see his face, man.
Dave,
Sorry.
he looks like him,
This
sort
is
of.
this is a pandemic thing. The pandemic, I believe, had an effect on the human memory, where we just
Oh, yeah.
See, I
Yeah.
think we've forgotten people's names because you don't have to know them anymore. The combination of
What's the
having them in
story?
your phone.
Dave
and
lived
Instagram.
with Peter Tosh in Jamaica for a little while.
You don't say.
He was working on something with him. So Dave has like a really, I don't want to say intimate knowledge because that sounds a little, that sounds like I'm telling you the wrong
No, you're
story
allowed to
there.
say those things now.
Yeah, you are. But he knows him. He knows him
You
on
can
a
be
very
hip-hop
personal
and-
level.
Right.
which is wild because he's such a
Private
that's an
person.
intense cat, Peter Tosh. I mean, that's a heavy cat.
And I did my first movie I ever did was in 1994 with this director named Nicholas Campbell, who was also an actor, and he did that documentary Step and Razor.
Is that's the one
Peter
about
Tosh documentary.
about the FBI coming
Yeah.
for him and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff? Yeah, that's a crazy movie.
Yeah.
That's
See?
a crazy movie. I remember that.
Now, see, Toronto was very reggae growing up, and then it was also very funk and disco in the black world, and then the radio there was this little college radio station named CKLN 88.1, and this guy Ron Nelson had a hip hop show called the Fantastic Voyage Program, and he somehow got cassettes. He got cassettes of Cash Money. I don't know where he got the cassettes from, but he had these cassettes and he would play them on the radio. And that's the first time I heard Cash Money. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? And the sound quality was trash, but I would record it off the radio and you'd hear, hoop, 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 hoop. No, do the big beat. And I was like, yo, whoever this guy is, he's the best DJ in the world.
Outstanding. But really, I mean,
That's crazy
incredible.
how that's how I started coming up there because a cassette got up there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the distribution situation you had set up was, but I know it wasn't like on a label, but I had your cassette from like Tower Records in Los Angeles.
Well, you had old school, learn the new.
Yeah,
The
it was
plot?
like the one, it had like Jizza Cold World on it. And
Oh, yeah.
it was called like something
WKIS.
Volume 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
WKIS. But it was, I
Oh
remember.
yeah, WKIS, my ass.
That's what it was. That's
FM.
exactly right.
Yeah.
And I remember bugging out because if you wanted mixtapes, you could only get them like, on Melrose and in the DJ shops. But like that mixtape was being sold in Tower Records, which
Right.
means whoever was distributing your stuff was like really on it.
It was really distributing your
Yeah,
stuff.
it was really
Right.
distributing your stuff.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
so
getting-
I bought that in Tower Records. I don't know how.
Getting back to like Toronto, man. Like I never forget. I had got a phone call from Ron,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Hey, we want you to come up to Toronto, but you have to battle this crew that was up there. I guess they were from Buffalo, New York. I forget the name of they were like two brothers. I never forget. They had Jerry curls and everything. Yeah, so we came up there, me and Marv, and that was the first night that we.
You must have
performed.
destroyed them.
Oh, we destroyed them. We destroyed.
We had a
them, man.
lot of those types of things happen in Toronto in the early to mid 80s because I would be at all those shows because it was the only fucking thing going on hip hop wise. And one time, Roxanne Shante came and they gave her this white guy from Toronto to beatbox for her. Well, I think whatever happened, and she was like, "Who can beatbox?" And This white guy, and he got on, and he called himself the box that rocks, and I was like, and I remember,
I do
and
one of
everyone was
those.
like,
Name, man.
and everyone was
Wow.
laughing at him and booing him and stuff, and then someone in the audience was like, "You think you can do better?" And they're like, and she goes, "You think you do better?" He goes, "Yeah." And this other dude, I think this kid from Buffalo, got up and just murdered the kid on the beatboxing. And we were all like, oh shit. It was a lot of that type of stuff. And like DJ Cheese battled Cutmaster DC in Toronto.
I didn't know that.
I was there.
Wow.
And Cheese won because Cutmaster DC was doing all the body tricks and all the fucking cutting with a shoe and cutting with his, and he picked up a basketball to cut with,
Right.
and the basketball slipped out of his hand, dropped on the fucking turntable. And I was like, boo.
The pageantry has really left the building.
Oh, yeah.
Like I love watching like early '90s crew battles where you had like the Filipino guys that had like the like violin bow and the record that was like this big. And
Oh, yeah.
and they're like playing with the
They put the needle on their
with
finger.
the round wire.
Right.
Yeah.
and making
That was
beats.
Kubert doing all that shit. Remember Kubert took the needle, turned it upside down, and scratched the record across the needle?
Oh yeah, when
Right.
he pulled,
And then
when he pulled it. He pulls the tone arm up. He pulls the tone arm like up off of the record.
See, this
right?
is what's missing, man.
And then he would take the
Showmanship.
needle. Remember
Yeah.
he took the tone arm and cut with the tone arm?
Yeah.
Who
Who was the guy who put the rubber band on the tone arm? It was like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah, and he would play it like a
Yeah,
like a
like a bass.
like a bass in a jug band. You know,
I'm
like
I'm like,
Was that in a DMC?
Yeah, I don't know where this guy was
because they
from.
used to have those like
They
at
put
a certain
DMC
point.
championships.
Well, because the scratching wasn't evolving as fast as the like stage presence,
Right.
right? Like I mean, compared to what you guys were doing and like you and Jeff were doing in like the early '80s, which was like just inventing like all like I still can't do anything better than what you guys were doing in
See,
1984.
see, the thing of it is, back in those days when we were doing it, we still had to rock a party.
Right.
You know, it wasn't just that word turntablist.
Yeah, it's like a rubber band on the crossfader. That's like Royden, but like in yeah, it's a
to make it fly back faster?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Oh, that's
can't
for
do that.
lazy crabbing?
Yeah, you got to for lazy crabbing,
Yeah.
which is also something I do in the summer times.
Oh, yeah, I got the laziest crabs you've seen.
You're just lazy crabbing.
Lab crab in California.
Lab crab in California. I was going to go crab and stabbing, but you know it's win-win.
Crabbing,
It's
stabbing,
it's a win-win.
crabbing. Let's see what you did there.
Reggae,
You
on,
went reggae for
on
me.
topic. Yeah.
So back to my story there. I never that night I quit my job to go see Cash Money. I never ended up getting to see him because I didn't have any money to take the bus because I didn't know which fucking bus would take me to that part of town.
Wow.
So I quit my job uselessly.
So you did not make it to the
I
show.
did not make it to the show.
And
I
you
quit my
lost-
job to see you. That doesn't mean I went and saw you.
Right.
I just quit my job to see.
It's the resolve.
Wow.
Yeah, it was in protest.
If it wasn't, it would. I like to think it would. You were. That job was on its way out the door.
Oh yeah, I mean, I sometimes reflect on my life now and I go, fuck, what would have happened if I'd stayed at KFC? Might I be in a better position today?
We could be, smoking
Extra
cigars
crispy
somewhere
would be off the
comfortable.
hook, man.
Yeah, I like original.
Don, you could be the next Colonel Sanders. They're still revolving Colonel Sanders, as I understand it.
Well, there is a chicken sandwich revolution happening.
It is. I just saw Burger King with one.
Burger King always had. Everybody had chicken sandwiches. That's the fucking weird part. It's not like these chicken sandwiches came out of nowhere. Like, oh my god, have you heard about the chicken sandwich?
Yeah.
They've always been there. And I
Has
was
a
like,
chicken sandwich.
yeah. Did you know KFC has a chicken
And
sandwich?
Quavo's selling them on the side.
Quavo?
That was a thing, right? He was like eBaying the fancy chicken sandwiches that everyone was fighting over.
Quavo from Migos?
Quavo. I mean, do you know another?
I never heard that before.
I don't want to know that one.
Oh, right, because he's problematic now, right? Did he do something bad?
No, I just never liked him.
Oh, you just don't like him.
I don't like any of that stuff. That's why it's interesting to have you here because you're like 10 years younger than me and you're about 30 years younger than Cash because he's old as shit. But
But I look older than both of you, which is the important thing.
well, that's 40 years in the desert will do that to you guys. Put it this way, Cash is so old he's changing his name to DJ Bitcoin.
He's on a roll.
Hey Cash, when did you start DJing? Was it 70s?
Nah.
I don't know why I sounded so. Was it 70s? What the fuck happened to me? Was it 70s?
Yeah, it sounded, that was very like ESL of you. Was
Even
it
I was like,
70s?
"God, what the
When do
fuck
you
was
DJ?
that,
Is it
Russell?"
70s?
I got Indian Tourette's, guys. I got an excuse.
I'm from 70s.
Nah,
Nice to meet you.
Around 81, I'd say.
So 4 years before I started DJing,
Yeah.
and you had a whole world of fucking difference, more talent than I'll ever have to this day.
Yeah, I was just trying to just take things to a whole different level, making noise, but making it danceable.
Did you have 12s?
No, I started off with Techniques B101, the belt-driven turntables.
I had SLB 200s with the wheel.
With the right.
With
Yeah,
the wheel
so
for the pitch.
that's like the full, like you touch it and it's like
Oh yeah, and your belt would stretch and fall off.
Yep.
And then I would.
those were cute.
And
Yeah, I never
yeah.
knew who those were for. I didn't,
yeah.
I
used to go to pick up my mom from work with my dad. She worked at Kmart, and I would go to the turntable section, steal the belts off the display turntables, and take them home.
sneaky.
Survival. Only the strong will survive.
See, I messed up. No one really told me much, and Bernie B brought me to Circuit City, and was like, "You want turntables? I'm going to sit in this seat, and you go
How
talk
old
to
were
that
you?
guy." I was 11,
Oh damn!
and all I knew was Techniques, but I did get a pair of linear.
Because they look cool.
Because they were cool, because they were black and they said Techniques on them, but I didn't realize that like I needed non-linear turntables, so I just was absolutely destroying the 12 inches.
I wanted linear turntables the first time I saw them too because they looked so dope.
They're very
Push
slick.
the button, the arm just went. I was like, "Yo, that shit's dope." I didn't realize
They had no pitch control, and you couldn't scratch with them. So
Yeah,
I was just,
the minute you scratch, the minute you lift it up, right?
but I will tell you, in 11th grade, people would come over and be like, "You've got two turntables." I was DJing all the makeout parties, so it was good. The same night of my first DJ gig, it was my first French kiss. So it was a big.
That was 11th grade.
A big combo. 11th grade? No, this was 6th grade.
Okay, I was gonna say it took a long time to get a French kiss going.
In 11th grade? No, I was 11 years old.
Is that those the ones you had?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like that, but I want to say it was black. Yeah. This is amazing, by the way.
So-
For those who can't see, we're getting the information right on the screen.
Now, what's crazy?
We know what we do is while we're talking on the YouTube channel, they post. Courtney will get the pictures posted while we're talking.
It's
about
phenomenal. It's very professional.
You know
This
what's
is
crazy about that whole concept of the linear turntables? They made the boom box.
it. With one built in.
Yep. The Shark.
Oh, the one
Yes.
with the turntable
You
on
can put
top?
the record in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh, it was like a front loader.
yeah, but it played both sides of the.
Oh, the needle would spin around.
No, there was one on the bottom and one at the top.
Ah, you have that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it work well?
Yeah.
Does it skip?
No,
Wow.
it doesn't.
Like, even if you're walking down the
It
street?
doesn't. No. Nope.
And you'd think that would have caught on a little more.
Yeah, they were expensive.
It was
How many bin boxes you got, Cash?
about 52.
God damn. Did my brother hit you up about one recently?
Yeah. He wanted to buy mine.
Yeah. My brother wanted a RCM 90, I think.
Yeah, he found one.
Yeah, he found one. My brother still has his RCM 70, and it works. Even the light on the radio bandwidth thing still lights up.
Wow, because the belts and everything, they just disintegrate after a while.
No, his is
Wow.
42 years old now.
Wait, so you have 52 boomboxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they all work still?
Yeah.
you run
Some I haven't played in a while, so I'm not sure. They were, before I put them away in storage, they were working, but
Interesting.
after time, the belts just disintegrate. So you have to get new belts.
Remember when they made them with detachable speakers?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And then
That's when I step on the scene.
Yeah, but the shitty thing was sometimes the clip.
There
Oh,
it
there
is,
it is,
right
right there. Yeah, sometimes the
that
clip
one
wouldn't
was
hold.
the shit.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's
Yeah.
what my dad had out by the pool.
So that one, my brother wanted so bad for years since we were kids, and he I think he hit up Cash Money about it.
Because I posted it.
Yeah, my
He
brother
was
wanted
like,
to buy
hey,
it off you.
you want to buy it? I'm like, it's the only one I have, Clayton.
RCM
Yeah.
60. Oh, okay.
And I need this.
I need that.
I need this for.
RC 550.
How was it? So my brother got it finally.
Yeah.
Played it and he goes, "This thing sounds like shit."
It's mono.
It's for mono listening. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, you can only
He was
listen
like,
to.
"I can't believe I waited 40 fucking years for this." And it sounds like shit.
That's only for Phil Spector records.
Oh yeah. I wanted the sharp one with the double cassette and all the speakers at the bottom.
GF77.
There you go.
To have money back then, I did not have.
Did you ever like the Canyon? The one with the alarm?
My best friend Stacko had one. I got a T-shirt with it on it.
Okay.
I should have worn it today. I have it upstairs. I was considering it.
Is that the one they still make with like the blue and yellow
It had
kind
the
of
purple,
trim and
and it had the purple burglar alarm in the middle.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Dope.
Yeah,
That's one of the few that they
Canyon,
still make, I
Clarion,
think.
they all
Yeah.
copied the same
Copied
box.
it. Yep.
Hard as you might try, you can't be good at everything. For example, you might do a fabulous impression of John Lovitz, and that would be fantastic. And you could be a fantastic DJ. I think I'm just complimenting myself right now. But that doesn't mean you're a good cook. I know this firsthand because I am not a good cook. I can tear up a microwave, though. But even if you aren't a gifted chef, HelloFresh will help you feel like one. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. I've never considered myself to be a good cook, even though I went to high school for chef training for 2 years. But I've made enough HelloFresh recipes now that I'm starting to trust myself in the kitchen. And you know what? So are my kids and my fiance. And when Kevin Nealon was on the podcast, he totally unprompted said he was using HelloFresh too, and he even used it as his excuse to end our conversation and go home. I mean, what better time to leave me than when I'm talking about something? Because HelloFresh recipes are good enough to make you look forward to going home for dinner. They are restaurant quality meals that you can enjoy in the comfort of your own home for way less money. HelloFresh's gourmet recipes like balsamic fig sirloin are over 72% cheaper than an average restaurant meal. And if you travel a lot or know you'll be out of town at any point, HelloFresh offers the flexibility your busy life requires. My schedule changes all the time, and with HelloFresh, I can skip a week whenever I need to or change my delivery days so that I'm home when my HelloFresh box arrives. And you can also customize your orders every week. And if you have any friends or family staying with you, you can even get a larger box size for more servings and more savings. This is just one of those things that makes sense, people. You need HelloFresh in your life. Go to HelloFresh.com/12Peters and use code 12Peters for 12 free meals. That's 12Peters. The numbers, not the word. So 12Peters for 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/12Peters for 12 free meals, including the free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
I had a Hitachi back in the mid '80s, and it had the 3 speakers at the bottom, the big sub in the middle, and it had side handles. Yeah, that's mine. That's my old one.
There you got full,
It wasn't that small. It was like this big.
full band EQ.
Well, I'm talking about compared to the real big ones.
Oh, yeah, no,
how
but
many
that thing
batteries
sounded good.
How many
And-
batteries did it take?
It took 6 or 8
Okay.
D's. D's nuts, Eddie.
No,
I will say
my
the cigar-
favorite one was the Toshiba Bomb Beat.
Toshiba Bomb Beat. You have one?
Yeah.
Eddie, find a Toshiba Bomb Beat. This is going to make for great listening.
Yeah, it's a podcast where you just talk about stereo equipment that's off camera.
Yeah.
I think it's the
Which one is
the
their
money.
cash?
There it is. The where it says 100.
You just put there. The one
Yeah,
that says
right.
100 on it?
Yeah.
Oh,
There
that's
you go.
dope.
That is awesome.
That's fun to look
That
at.
looks like the sharp one, sort of.
I would like to high speed
but
dub
it
with
sounds great.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds great.
High-speed dubbing. Remember that? That was a thing.
I was just doing a lot of high speed dubbing. I did a limited edition cassette for a clothing line called Ignored Prayers, and it was a volume 2, and the first one they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do the tapes. Don't worry about it." And then I put it in the tape. I was like, "This sounds like shit. Like, what? How did you guys even do it?" He's like, "Well, my friend did it," and I was like, I'm gonna do it because there was only 50 of them, and I was like, I'm gonna do this
that was a
myself.
mission,
and
dude.
it was so like aesthetically pleasing to sit and listen to that sound because I haven't heard it in like 25, 30 years.
Right.
And it was like
You didn't find it tedious after maybe the 10th one?
Any reason to stay at home, honestly.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So I got it
Mike
done in a
wanted to do
couple
this
days.
by Zoom, by the way. Hey, well, no, we're open 100%. It doesn't matter. Can we Zoom?
Yeah, where do you live? 20 minutes from here? Can I just Zoom or... Well, putting on shoes is a task.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy.
And you got to think about it. You know, it's like... I'm going to Encino. I got to look nice. I got to, have it together. I got my beard trimmed for this.
Oh, yeah. You came in hot.
Well, I mean, here you're going to be with cash money. You got to look fresh.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you this part. After... when I was in Canada, KFC made those lids for me on the chicken boxes.
And did they know?
I don't think they knew that I worked there.
If only you knew the
how
part
I threw
that
them
you
under the
played
chicken bus one day.
in my career. They need to make DJ Cash Money one.
Yeah, they really should. But nobody will get it because they didn't know the bus route and didn't have the money to get there.
Right.
And see, there's the foreshadowing. We're promoting you to Colonel. I told you you're going to be the next Colonel.
That's true. You know what? I didn't realize. This is from many years ago, too. And I was like, this isn't foreshadowing. This is retroactive.
It was. Do you recall when Norm Macdonald was the Colonel a few years ago? He was the first of the new Colonels. And then he tweeted something very ominous. And he, because I love him on Twitter because he's either doing a shot-by-shot review of what's happening in a golf game, or
he loves that shit.
Or saying, you never know with Norm. So and he was like, in the future, everyone will be Colonel Sanders for a short while. And I was like, that is a weird tweet, and I don't know what it means. And then it was
Gaffigan.
Yeah, it was Jim Gaffigan, and then it was who's the very tan guy who did it. And I was like, oh, he was just saying I'm not permanently going to be Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, they just keep switching out their Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, because for Extra Crispy, they had, was it George Hamilton or like?
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty funny though. That is pretty funny.
Yeah,
I mean that is pretty damn good. But Colonel Danders, Eddie, that guy's really needs some lotion. Colonel Danders, and his pet too.
Oh, that's a colonel who's got a lot of dandruff.
Oh, a pet dander.
A pet? Oh, no, he's just shedding.
Or Colonel Mildred? That was his name? Harold David Sanders.
Colonel Mildred Sanders. Is that what he said?
Harlan.
Oh, Harlan. Okay, yeah.
What did I just read?
Sanders.
Oh, I didn't see the Harlan film. I can't see.
Have you?
He looks like Kenny Rogers.
The important thing is, have you heard Colonel Sanders' drunken outtakes?
Oh, the real Colonel Sanders?
Oh, yeah, the actual. Yeah, Colonel Harlan Sanders, when he was doing the commercials in the 50s or 60s. Remember there was that notorious recordings that went around of celebrities doing voiceovers and screaming at the studio engineers.
That's Casey Kasem.
Yeah, with Casey Kasem. What the fuck is this? Yeah, and and it's it was so jarring to hear it because you just had never heard any of these people say anything untoward. But Colonel Sanders was so drunk that he can't say the word chicken. And he's just it's my Colonel crispy crops chicken. They're just screaming at him. It's 92 takes.
Well, he looks like he would have gotten drunk.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that this man,
Billy Zane, was Colonel Sanders?
250-year-old cracker was a kooky.
Rob Lowe?
Is he going to be the next Colonel Sanders? Rob will
Ray Liotta was Colonel Sanders?
See, Norm Macdonald says, say Jerry Garcia was Colonel Sanders? Who was that?
Reba McEntire was Colonel Sanders? What the fuck?
Well, it's a whole new world. Anyone can be Colonel Sanders now. I identify as Colonel Sanders, actually.
I identify as original. OG crispy. OG regular.
You people need to recognize that I'm Colonel Sanders because I say so.
Julius Bjornsson? I can't believe he did it.
Well, every man has his price. RoboCop. Oh, they can't even say Peter Weller. They have to.
Oh, wow.
Come on, man.
The man has a name.
Did your dad produce RoboCop?
My dad did not produce RoboCop.
Just check.
He did not do a lot of very violent shit, although he was the head of Lorimar for the release of Action Jackson, which I snuck a VHS of when I was 10, and I'm still horrified by what I saw in that film. That movie's fucked up.
That was with Carl Weathers, right?
That was Carl Weathers and Sharon Stone and Craig T.
was
Nelson.
in there, right?
Yeah, and Vanity.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I remember the car ride when they were in the alleyway.
Yeah, right.
Remember that?
It's horrifying. And it's all in Detroit, and there's so much aggressive heroin use and sex. I mean, it's a full exploitation film. But as put out by Lorimar in 1986 87 or 88
Yeah,
or
it was
something
about
like
that,
that.
87, 88.
And then he also did Replacement Killers, which was
Oh, that was a dark one.
Chow Yun-Fat's first
Wasn't that Woody
American
Harrelson?
film. No, that was Natural Born Killers.
Oh, right. I was getting
that
my
was
killers
Oliver
mixed
Stone.
up.
Yeah, no, this
Who was
was
in Replacement Killers, Paulie?
it was Mira Sorvino and Chow Yun-Fat
Oh, right.
and Clifton Collins Jr.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
I know Clifton. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Clifton's the man.
Yeah, he's
I
a
love
good dude.
Clifton. Yeah, great guy.
His real name's Gonzalez, right?
Clifton Gonzalez from a movie called The Stoned Age. That was his like a original thing.
Yeah. But I think his
Which
real name's just
He
Gonzalez.
doesn't love it when you see him out and you're drunk and you quote The Stoned Age to him a lot, which is what I did.
Is that what you do?
Yeah. So that's my thing.
I know. I met him at the Boondock Saints Part 2 premiere. And we somehow became
good.
friends.
They needed more of that movie.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Is that how your eyes stay green, Cash? You drink green juice?
David Banner, bro.
The green juice, brother with the green juice?
Yep.
Cash, let's talk to you some more.
Let's go.
Did you used to sell merch at your gigs in the mid 80s?
Absolutely.
What'd you sell?
T-shirts, Cash Money, Marvelous T-shirts, the hats. Actually, I went to jail for it.
Jail?
Yeah,
Why?
I beat up a promoter.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Promoters need their asses whooped now and then.
Yeah, we were on tour overseas, and the promoter was supposed to break us off our percentage every night, and he was withholding for about 5 shows. And then we threatened to say, we told him we were not going to do no more of the shows, and he refused to pay our hotel bill. So we were locked out of our rooms. So my manager was trying to reason with him, and I said, enough is enough. I said, hey, get this sorted out in 20 minutes or I'm coming down there. And he said, were you threatening me? I said, no, I'm promising you. So
Yeah.
I went
That's
down
different.
there. I saw him. Boom, boom, boom. He sorted it out, but he called the cops on me and I was arrested. And Tim Westwood posted bail for me so I can get out.
Big up Tim
I used
Westwood.
to have a cassette of you on Tim Westwood in like 92. Cutting up Choice is Yours, DeWick, Scenario, all that shit's so dope. And I got to find that fucking cassette.
Wow.
Tim Westwood continues to do his thing on a very high level.
Yeah, you know what? I did Westwood's show. It must have been 96, 97. Me and DL Hughley went and did it.
Right.
And I was making fun of him in between commercial. He didn't like that.
Right.
I go, hey, man, why do you talk like that? I go,
Sounds
"It's not
like
even-"
Flex.
Huh?
He sounds like
Well, Flex
the English
was
version of
always his-
Funkmaster Flex.
His idol. And
I
at one
was
point,
pretty, to be honest, in all fairness, I was being mad disrespectful to a guy who was letting me be on his show. You know what I mean?
yes,
Right.
but how do you not? Because Tim Westwood is such a kooky character.
No doubt. So, Cash.
You want to see some real shit? Watch Tim Westwood interview Young Thug
Really?
and talk like a young man from Atlanta.
Oh, is that what he flips?
It
Is that what he
is.
flips into now?
I mean, if you want, I don't know how he hasn't. You want to talk about culturally canceled? Like this is, it's wild, and I love Tim Westwood, but it is crazy. He's just like the red skin, the red bone babies. Tell me about the red bone mommies. Like, and it's just like, dude, you can't say that shit, And Young Thug is just kind of like, okay, he's like, you gonna roll a spliff? No, that's for you, Young Thug. Like, it's just like. It's
Why,
intense. It's a man in his 50s interviewing Young Thug and trying to be, his cool uncle.
I can't give these young kids any fucking respect. So I'm like, fuck out of here with your
You
bullshit.
brought that up earlier, and it's interesting to hear that as a man who is you have hip hop, ingrained in your soul.
That's why I can't.
Right.
So are you just saying cats like that are out? Or
there it is.
Any of them. I can't fucking any of those fucking. No.
You know what the problem is? I think this is where the problem lies. They pile everything into hip hop when I think they should have their own genre of
Yeah,
music.
it shouldn't be considered hip hop.
No.
I think that's what my beef is with
Yeah.
it. Is that
'Cause,
it's
like,
called
when you
hip
say
hop and
that-
it's not fucking hip hop. It is rap music or trap music, but it's not hip hop.
It's not hip hop.
Because nothing about it has anything to do with hip hop. If you really think about it, it's one element of hip hop, and even that element's fucking shaky.
Yeah. See, I don't know.
there's no
I don't
DJing
know where I
involved?
stand. It's like I said, I was never a genre guy. I was always a music guy. So I feel like
Yeah.
either people are good or they're bad. And
Right.
so to disqualify everything that's going on now, I always felt was a little wild. But then there also does come a point where it doesn't. You just can't pay attention anymore, and you know what you like. And
You know,
Cash Money. Where do you stand on this? Is there anyone new, like any new Atlanta cats or young people that are not? Well, like Griselda is like obviously like made for us, you know, and things like that. But they're also like my age, you know. So like, I'm talking about like people in their teens and early 20s, like that you're really.
Well, there's that kid from Philly, LGP. He's dope.
I'm not aware of him. He's good. I should check him out.
Yeah, he's gotta be like 20 or something.
See, I love Migos like a lot.
See,
I love Young Thug like a lot. I love
all,
Future a lot. Like, and I talked to Large Professor about this because I was interested to see what his take on it was.
Was Billy Paul, was he sober or drunk when you talked to him?
He was drunk.
Oh boy.
And no, we were having a time. We were DJing. This was like around the time Bad and Bougie was like really out and Migos were like definitely becoming the rock stars that they are. And he said, he's like, I love Migos. And he's like, and if people say, it was something like you can't say you love Das EFX and then disrespect Migos. And I was like, that's an interesting point. But then it's a similar
That's
style.
wiggity wacky.
That's
crickety crazy,
man. It's like you can't even compare the two.
Alternately, compare the two, you'd be surprised how much there is going on there. But then he said he had a lot of ire for Lil Uzi Vert, who's a Philly cat.
Yeah.
But he was like Lil Uzi Vert's not a rapper. He's like, Migos is rappers.
So like
I
said,
don't find them to be any of that. None
you
of them.
have to. They listen. When you say their names, it's like you're comparing them to Rakim or somebody who's very lyrical, right?
Sure.
You just can't put them everybody in one pot, man.
Oh, right. Well, that's what I say. Like a kid, like I
don't think they want.
Fan.
I don't think they even want to be.
Oh no.
Well, no, here's the thing.
Shit.
It's like now when you think about it like this, like house music got all the divisions right. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because we grew up with original house music.
Right.
Classic house.
Right.
And then in the late 80s, Detroit took it and made techno house with it. And we were good with that techno house because it wasn't too techno-y.
Right.
Then England got it and made acid house and was like, wait, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
And then England and then the rest of Europe did acid and techno and switched the whole vibe up. And then the house community went, all right, CDM, that's not what we are.
We spent 25 years, aggressively subgenreing, and then like someone was just like, well, it's all just electronic dance music, and then we all got fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, it is. It actually is electronic. All of it is, but
Yeah. I mean, in many ways, rap is electronic
yeah, it's very
dance
much
music.
it is now, especially. But yeah, I mean, with the house thing, you knew what you were getting. Nobody was comparing fucking Tiesto to Kenny Dope. Do you know what I mean? Because they knew that's this lane, that's this lane.
Well, it depends how hardcore you are. There's people in house like DJ Sneak, who was in Toronto for quite some time, and he's really he's like a second generation Chicago guy, and he has a lot of very hip hoppy things to say about house music, and so he like came at the Swedish House Mafia like on some hip hop house attitude shit, like you guys aren't real, you guys aren't doing. I mean, you had bits right about Steve Aoki and
I don't know Steve. I know you know him well.
I wouldn't say I know him well. We were work friends.
But see, now here's the thing. When I first moved out here, I remember hearing Steve Aoki's name through your crew, like through what I call the Jew crew.
Together.
The Jew
I needed
crew.
to make money somewhere, you know.
No, but he wasn't throwing cakes and he wasn't doing all that wacky shit.
No.
He was actually trying to learn how to DJ back then.
I assure you, there's nothing worse than listening to Steve Aoki do doubles.
Oh, I can't even imagine it. I mean, I can't even imagine him actually DJing, to be honest with you. And I remember him DJ.
I've seen it. He's better off pre-recorded.
Yeah, I would imagine he would be. I mean,
He tried his little heart out for so many years.
Let me tell you something, men. If you're losing your hair, you're not alone. Trust me, look at me. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35. I know I did, and I do, and I'm still fighting the whole problem. But whatever. If you're looking to hang on to your hair, I'd suggest trying Keeps. Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair on your head. And there are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and Keeps just happens to offer both. And Keeps is affordable and convenient. Treatments start at just $10 a month, and medications are delivered straight to your door every 3 months. Not only that, but Keeps offers convenient virtual doctor consultations so that you don't have to leave your house for an appointment. I mean, if you want to leave your house, I'm sure you can, but this is probably easier. There are a lot of options on the market when it comes to hair loss solutions, but what really sold me on Keeps was the fact that they have more 5-star reviews than any of their competitors. Clearly, it's working for people, and I think it makes it worth trying. I can't guarantee it's going to work, but you know what? What do you got to lose? Well, we already know what you got to lose. Let's figure out how to not lose it. If you're curious about trying Keeps for your hair loss concerns, I'm here to tell you that you should definitely give it a shot. So if you're curious about trying Keeps for your hair loss concerns, I'm here to tell you that you should definitely give it a shot. I'm telling you, they offer such an easy, discreet, and convenient solution to something that so many of us men struggle with. Why worry about hair loss anymore if you don't have to? Prevention is the key here, and treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results. So if you're thinking that Keeps might make sense for your hair loss concerns, I wouldn't wait. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/Peters to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/Peters to get your first month free. Keeps.com/Peters. Please don't slash me.
You guys should have like a battle, like the battle of the trust fund DJ kids.
The battle of the entitled DJs, yeah.
Well, you're not. See, I would call you
Trustafarians.
The Trustafarians.
The Trustafarians. I would call you entitled if I thought you were, but I don't think you are at all. I think the way your father brought you up was in a very normal way. Like, listen, son, we got some shit, and I'm not gonna let you act like you got some shit.
He made a really strong point of
Your dad
me
was from New York, right?
not being an asshole. So I fought him on that, and now I'm an asshole. But he was a New York guy, yes.
That's why.
So I and his father was not even a milliner, but worked in the millinery district selling ladies' hats. So we did not come from money.
Is that one of your grandfather's hats?
Possibly, but this is I believe I'm wearing the Arroyo Seco Municipal Golf Course hat. That's
good, yeah.
That's where I go do my par 3 stuff.
Oh, booby.
Exactly. Well, you gotta stay on the course. That's my exercise. That's where I get my sun. While walking
golf?
very
you
slowly.
Golf, Cash?
Nah, man.
I can't do it either, dude. I've never tried it, but I can't.
I didn't even like it at putt-putt.
I like mini putting. Hell yeah, I like that shit. But golf? Nah, I've never done it.
I will say
It's
that
really fun.
the Tiger Woods game.
That's the best.
Yeah, now
That's where I learned to play golf.
the Nintendo one. Yeah.
I did it on PlayStation, but it's
Okay.
just like you can actually learn how to play golf from that video game. It'll teach you how to triangulate putts and
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
But people say they said, Cash, if you ever stop playing basketball, you'll make it. It'll be a smooth transition into golf. I don't see it.
It's easier on your knees.
Right.
That much
Well,
I
he
know.
never gained weight, so he's okay. He's
yeah,
always
so
been
you-
the same
You
size.
probably
you know?
still have a pretty good vertical leap. Mine, it's been gone since 6, 7.
So gravity gets you now.
Yeah. Surprisingly agile for a large man, but
So is Eddie, you know.
I don't have a lead.
Not at the moment. Not at the moment, but Eddie
This
was.
is what I live in constant fear of. I'm
He's
like 1
grounded,
second
man.
away from this
no,
happening all
he
the
got in a
time.
motorcycle accident.
That's not something I live in fear
Yeah,
of.
no,
'cause
he
you
was
have to
riding
get
his
on a
motorcycle
for
and
that.
because he lives in La Puente, some lady's donkey was crossing the street, and he because it's really Mexican out there.
I said, no, I see what you did.
She was crossing. She was trying to do a U-turn on her burro, and Eddie hit his hoof.
Is it really from a motorcycle accident?
But it was
Any way to get De Niro over? See, I'm gonna have to figure out another way to get it. That's what this is. That'd be excited to have like a knee
I wouldn't
rover,
believe him
that-
because he'll sell it to you,
a
Mike.
storied knee rover.
I know Eddie very well.
Oh no, I heard him on the phone earlier. He's a hustler. He's making
Oh,
moves.
he's not a hustler. He's a fucking shyster. There's a difference.
Six of one, 12 of the other. I believe that's the saying. But you know what? I will change when you have time. When you have 17 minutes free, I know you're a very busy man. But you watch Migos on Tim Westwood, where they freestyle.
They freestyle?
off the dome, as they say. And I'm someone who has heard every bit of recorded music that they have, which is a lot. And these lyrics were never anywhere else, and because they're 3 guys that they would rap together at the bando.
You're
And,
from Atlanta?
Yeah, am I from Atlanta?
No, them.
They are from Atlanta, yeah. And so it's 17 minutes of nonstop
What kind
and
of
they're
beat is
doing
it?
each other's ad libs. They're rapping over like all classic Atlanta beats, so it's like over like Gucci Mane beats. And was that where it ends for you? Did you even get up to Gucci Mane?
No,
or did
I never got past.
You never went past Outkast and Goody Mob as far as
I didn't
Atlanta
get into
goes.
them.
You didn't even like them.
You didn't like Outkast?
I like a song or two here and there.
That's
I
a
liked,
heavy statement.
I liked Who's That Creeping in My Window? That was about it.
That's the Goody Mob.
That's
That was
not
Goody Mob.
them.
Yeah.
No, I know, but that was Goody Mob.
That's a Goody Mob, right?
I know,
Well,
but
Dungeon Fam. Yeah.
Hold it. So you didn't like Atlanteans? Was it called?
ATLians?
Yeah.
Right. So elevators.
that
any of that
Elevators.
stuff?
I loved Elevators.
Okay, right.
That song is dope.
And I like Spodioti Dopalicious.
Well, like Aquemini is considered one of the best albums ever made in the history of music by me.
Oh, by you. There you go.
I feel like that's in a Rolling Stone 100
I loved
if they have
Spodioti
to.
Dopalicious.
Right.
Like, loved it. Like, I could play that record and
Well,
rock out to
that
it.
song transcends.
And again,
genre
Elevators
and-
transcends as well.
Yeah. Well, Elevators is a rap song. That's a proper
The beat was
Atlanta
dope and-
rap song with a touch of like kind of like screwed like, you know, it's a syrupy.
But also, they also wrote lyrics back then.
yeah, sure.
They said some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem was their accent. I couldn't get into it. You know, growing up in Toronto, you get all the New York shit. So I just
Right.
only wanted to hear the East Coast accent. I
That's
didn't want to
where
hear.
a lot of the problems come for me with people talking about mumble rap. I'm like, that's a racist term because if you've been to Atlanta, like I'm sure you spent a little time in Atlanta, like that's just how they fucking talk.
Yeah,
It's just,
but
it's just that we can't understand it. You know, they're just like,
Well,
and-
no, that's how they talk now. I mean, if I always talk to my black friends about this, and I guess I'll consider Cash Money black today, although he's fucking lighter than both of us. But I always talk about my friends. I'm like, there's been some sort of mental deterioration there, because if you
Okay.
listen to black people talk from the 40s, 50s, and 60s with no education, spoke much clearer and they spoke better English then than these fucking idiots do now. And I'm like, what happened?
I'm going to steer clear of this whole hornet's nest. Yeah.
I was like, I don't understand. Now you'll meet, obviously, you will meet the scholars and the people that do speak well, but
Right.
the amount of people that don't, you're like, you had more opportunity. How did this fucking happen?
Yeah, because you had the most prestigious black colleges
Yeah.
down there.
True.
Spelman, Morehouse, Clark. Yeah,
Did you go to college?
I went to community college,
Which one?
Delaware County. I didn't last that long.
Was it in Delaware?
No. That's
Wait.
a good. That really is. Yeah, I never really thought about that.
Wait,
why
it's
would
not
they,
in
why would
Delaware?
they, why would
I
they
thought
call
that
it
was
a
a joke.
Delaware?
Okay.
It's not in Delaware.
I don't think the University of Phoenix Online is actually in Phoenix either.
I've heard it's not. Apparently it's down. It's like in Torrance. I always see the freeway exit there on the 110, University of Phoenix, and when I was a kid, that fucked me up. But take it from me, someone just being near good education will not get you far.
Did
I
you
mean,
go to Harvard Westlake or
I
something?
went to NYU. No, I went to Happy Valley School, which was like a hippie boarding school.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I learned how to like smoke weed and take acid and stuff. Then I went to NYU for a short while.
What'd you take?
Acid.
Nice. Did you pass?
I passed. I did it.
You passed blood,
I
but
did
you
a
still
great job.
passed.
Yeah. But that's where I met. That's where I met Stretch Armstrong, and then I quit school for hip hop music, much like a young Russell Peters quitting KFC.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't
Similar
want to do this
trajectories.
anymore because I met Stretch Armstrong and everything's a go.
My 86 was your 96.
Fact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you were down with Stretch when Bobito, they had the college show.
Essentially, yeah. If you keep watching their documentary like 10 minutes after the credits are done, that's when I come in.
I love that documentary.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like watching a mixtape come to life. So they talk about the period where they were fighting and taking turns doing the show. That's when I met Stretch. So it was like just murderous rap music.
I've never met Stretch. I've never met Bob. Funny enough.
Interesting.
And we have all the same friends.
They are two outstanding people. Bob, I don't know well, but I mean, just to know of what he's done and what he does.
You
he's
must know them well,
very
Cash.
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's crazy when Jay-Z first. I think it was his first time on their college show. I think he had Dead Presidents out. I was DJing that night.
Oh, you were playing on the show.
Yeah, I went
Amazing.
on right before he came on. Yeah, I didn't realize he was that tall.
Yeah, very tall.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a picture of me and him from like 99.
Is that when he raps with Big L?
Probably.
Because
That's the long
the
freestyle.
legendary like 8.5 minute
Right.
like Big L
Wasn't it? Was it longer than that?
Jay-Z free. It's long.
I think it's like 14 minutes or something because they both took turns.
Yeah, and Jay-Z's still rapping like jazz a little bit. He still has
Yeah,
the like,
yep.
like yeah, wild stuff.
Man, Big L was
How long was it? 9.5 minutes?
Yeah, 9.5 minutes is exactly right.
Well, Finesse just got home. There's Finesse right there. Finesse would know. Finesse might have even been there when that happened.
He was
How
likely
long was
there. So that's right before that might have been that show, right? Because Dead Presidents is 90.
because I left because I had a yeah.
Hey, Ness, were you there the day that Jay-Z and Big L freestyled on Bobito and them?
No, wasn't there. Just heard about it.
What's up, Lord Finesse? How you doing, man?
What's up, sir?
Hey, Ness, that's the Mike B.
How you doing?
That's the guy
Nice
I showed
to
you
see
the
you
poster
again.
of on the wall.
Oh, wow. What's going on?
Yeah, we've met here and there, but to say we know each other would be overstated.
No, Finesse was saying he says how much he loves you. He kept talking about you.
Yeah, and I recognized your living room from
The West Wing.
Finesse's Twitch feed. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I catch Twitch. Okay.
of
Oh,
course.
he's infamous, man. West
Saturday
Wing.
brunch. Okay.
Yes,
People
sir.
come here, they want to take a picture of that alone.
Yeah,
I've had people come over and just take a picture
What
of
did I say when we
your
got here?
laptop being
Yeah.
held up like that, and they're like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
I want to show
right.
people I was
Yeah.
there."
Yeah,
Get out of here.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Ness.
and the people you wouldn't think that are doing this, like the dude that works at Polachek's jewelry store came by, was like, "Oh shit, the white guy, the kind of regular white guy.
Yeah.
He's not dorky, he's not cool, he's just a regular white guy." He's a Jew, but still, I mean, Jews are just white people with special powers, you know.
that's what I always say.
Oh man.
What are the special powers? I'd like to unlock my special powers if I
Is
have
there a
any.
yarmulke underneath there? You forgot to wear your special hat.
I did. I actually don't own a yarmulke. I was never a practicing Jew because I already had perfected it.
Yeah.
But I
Did you have a bar mitzvah?
did not.
Really?
I was given the option.
Really?
Because I just, in Beverly Hills, a bar mitzvah just meant you were to receive a great deal of money and have a sick party when you were 13, whether you went to Hebrew school or not.
Right.
And like you said, my father was a little bit more of a hard ass, and he was like, not a hard ass, but he had, some sort of code.
He was like, if you didn't do it, I'm not going to give you
Well,
the
he
party.
said when I was 10, he said, you can either go to Hebrew school every Sunday and have the big bar mitzvah, or you can not, and you can just have like an okay 13th birthday.
Yeah.
And I just was like 3 years of going to school on Sundays. Like, fuck it. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, nobody needs that kind of party.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah.
And so I did not have it. I was
And he
bar
grew his
mitzvahed.
foreskin back, ironically.
I was bar mitzvahed in Stretch Armstrong's studio when I was like 23 by Chabad's, which are the Jehovah's Witnesses of Jews. They go door
Really?
to door, like, is there anyone Jewish here? Do you want to pray with us? And
I didn't even know about those.
the woman who the receptionist of that studio was so, I don't know, for lack of a better word, dumb, that when they came and knocked on the door and said, is there anyone Jewish here? She said, oh, you must be looking for Mike. And like, those were my friends that were coming down, and we're just like, yeah, we're here for our Jewish friend. And she let him in. And
This is how the war started in 1930s.
this was how it started.
This is
They
how the
come in-
Nazis got their shit
Yeah.
together.
Are there Jews here? Yeah.
Oh, you must be here for the bake-off.
I was in there having a bit of a bake-off, so I'm stoned as shit, and because I'm working in a rap studio, like doing clean edits for Stretch's radio show, and these guys walked in and they say, are you Jewish? Yes, I am. Have you ever been bar mitzvah? And I said no, and the little kid looked at the older one like, oh my god,
We found one.
Yeah, we found one. Like, we're here to do our job. So they wrapped this shit around my hands. I don't even know what it's called. And they made me say all kind of things. And then they said, like, now you've been bar mitzvah. It took like 5 minutes. Apparently, you don't need to do the 3 years.
Yeah.
And Chabad's, like CHABAD.
Oh, the Chabads.
Yeah. They're the ones that have the little
those are the
telephone
Chabad
that you see
centers.
the ads for all over Wilshire Boulevard. Yeah.
I didn't know that's what they were.
Yeah, Chabad's. They're the Jehovah's Witnesses of Jews.
Oh, they the
They're a
guys that
pain
have
in the
the
ass. You get in a car accident
they
with
wear
them.
the
They do wear, these guys have like the hats, and Yeah, they're these guys. They're
Oh, yeah.
just
Yeah,
Dude,
The
nothing
Blues
personal,
Brothers,
and I don't
yeah.
want to receive any anti-Semitic calls,
the
but
Jews brothers.
those motherfuckers stink.
they do. They're smelly and they have booger hands.
It's just gross. Every time I see them, I'm like, oh, dude. And I'm on the flight. It's usually on the flight from JFK to LA, and like a fuck ton of them
They
come
do.
on, and they walk past. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Just a society.
You only have
of-
the one black suit? Don't you have 10 of them? Shouldn't you have 10 of these fucking things?
Yeah, it's like a society of unpleasant people.
And they won't speak to you if you're not Jewish.
No, that's a thing. My friend got we got rear-ended by some Habads, and they like and then we got in a car accident. But we got we got rear-ended by Habads, and they came out and they were like, "Are you Jewish?" And we said yes, and they said, "You want to pray with us?" And we said no, and they're like, "Give me your insurance." So it's like it is like a thing where they do. They're the ones. They give us a bad name.
Was you dressed a certain way when they asked you was Jewish?
You can look at him
No,
and say he's
I mean,
Jewish.
I was wearing my face.
Yeah. I mean, he just looked very Jewy in all
So
fairness.
they won't talk to
Thank
you
you.
unless you're Jewish for real. This is real?
Well, they will talk to you, but they don't have much to say to you if you're not.
Like I
Because-
asked one of them, and it was a real question because the guy had the hat box with him, and it looked like a diesel ass hat box.
It is because the hat's 4 feet deep.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, where do you get those?" And he looked at me and walked away. I was like, "I just want to know where you got the fucking hat box from." That was a good ass hat box.
Well, he had a feeling that you weren't Jewish, and if you were, you weren't his kind of Jew. That's the other thing.
well,
is
that's
that
the other.
they don't-
These are the white ones, really.
They
These-
don't get down with
That's
the.
crazy that they don't talk to you. So
I mean, look at them; they're all
What
the
if-
same guy.
what if something happened, plane catch on fire, they on fire, they ain't gonna say shit to you?
Nope.
They ain't gonna ask for help or nothing?
I mean, maybe.
No, they'll pray.
But they're all ready to go to God, and they don't have a hell. So, like, if they're on fire, it's like they're finally met their karmic destiny.
It's so weird to be.
Although I don't
fucking-
think they believe in karma. I don't really know what they believe.
I'm an
I know they
atheist, so I
believe-
always find this shit fascinating. I'm like,
They
how do you
believe
just
in being
believe,
very
blindly
fucking
believe this
warm
shit?
all the time.
Yeah, that's why
and
they
wearing
smell.
wool hats in the middle of
Yeah,
summer and just
fucking the
being
goat girls.
just generally
and the-
being unpleasant. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you, man, when I did my show over there, man, I was like, it was a culture shock to me.
You were in
man.
Israel?
Yeah. I went to the holy city and everything. Yeah.
Have you?
What did
done-
you play?
Punks jump up to get beat.
I think I'm gonna get one of those hats because Russ be having he have it cold in here, man. They like being warm. I could get one of those hats.
Oh, listen, you know how hot it's been the past few days. Ness had the fucking heat on in his room still.
Yo, I sleep
103 outside, and I go, holy fuck, the heat's on in Ness's side of the house. I go, yo.
Well, that's how you sweat it out.
African style, man. I'm
No, but even in
used
Africa,
to
they
it.
use AC.
Nah, I don't use AC, man.
You got sick.
Yeah,
You got sick?
yeah.
When?
Shit, you had it on today. Yeah, I get congested when the
Yeah, that's
AC is
what's
on.
That is
It was happening to me today.
When I lived in New York and I would come back here, I would get crazy, like itchy eyes and runny nose. and
I
all
do get
like-
more congestion in California than I do anywhere else in the country.
because there's all
or the
kinds of
world.
shit flying.
Oh, yeah, there's a
through
lot
this
of weird
pollen
shit in
and
the
all
air
this
here.
stuff. You don't have trees in New York, so you don't have any of this shit.
Yeah, but you got the humidity in New York. Woo.
Oy.
Yeah. You want to talk schwitzing?
That's why I would come out here for the summers and have the dry heat, as they say.
This is bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Wow,
Wowschwitz is what I
When
call
I didn't
it.
understand,
I
like
left that one alone.
when I came back from the holy city, and right across the street, they're selling 9 West shoe stores, and like this is like a mall. It's the craziest thing I ever seen, man.
that was the holy sale city. Everything was wholesale.
Well, because we
Right,
love
right.
a bargain, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can pray, we can
You
get.
must need new shoes.
And Shine is out there. Do you know about this?
Is he living out there?
Shine is the first black Orthodox rabbi who recognized by the state of Israel.
Wow. Was he always
And
Jewish?
he picked this up in prison.
Yeah, of course.
We
Where else
all
are you
know
gonna
he
pick it
went to
up?
jail for Puffy. No, but usually, you hear about people picking up Islam and getting. You rarely hear about a rapper turning Orthodox Jew and then going all the way to being a rabbi and then going to Israel to be a rabbi. That's a lot.
He
I've
changed
never
his
even
name to
been
Moses
Israel.
Michael Levi Barrow.
Shine is way more Jewish than me,
Oh, yeah, that's fucking
which
weird.
is not hard to do.
And he's the same age as you.
Is he? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Shine is like 6 months older than me. Did you ever work with Shine Finesse?
Nah, I met Shine at Black Rob's release party
Rest in peace, Black Rob.
for Whoa. That's the first time I met Sean. I was with Buck Wild, and they was having a party. Rob performed the record. It was
I believe I was at this party.
It was in
Yeah.
SIR Studios.
Possibly. I mean, I was spending a lot of time with Black Rob at the time of the release of Whoa.
Yeah, you got to use the mic though.
Is that him now?
You literally pointed with the mic.
He just looks
You
like
did exactly what I said people do on this show.
That was in 2010, but yeah, that's why it was in.
Yeah, I was at that wall. And
Is that the Wailing Wall?
it looks like
Western
it.
Wanderers.
There needs to be a song. Christopher Cross needs to rewrite "Wailing."
Well, that's like that's frowned upon now, I believe. Whaling,
Is it?
like fishing for whales.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Well, that's why when you go there, you see people acting like blubbering fools.
We're good. We're really workshopping now.
Oh yeah, we're really writing. Eddie, take notes.
But yeah, I remember Buck Wild, and because that's when he was doing all the bad boy stuff.
Yeah, well, that was the start of it.
Yeah, yeah. He and
What was the
Easy
end of
LP.
I don't know. I mean, Buck has done
He had a
some
lot of
work.
joints.
He did Got a Story to Tell.
Oh yes.
He
He
did
did,
Story to Tell and the much slept on Story to Tell Part 2, which was a Mace record, which was
Really?
produced by
No,
Buck
I
Wild.
ain't hear that one. You got me on that one.
On Mace's second album. This is the shit that I know. This is why
No,
I
that's
couldn't
good shit to
graduate,
know.
I think
school.
he did. He definitely did Faith. I
Yeah,
love you.
Faith Evans, I Love You, which is all time classic.
Yeah, and did he did a Sherry Dennis record? I think he might have possibly.
And he did Master IC.
Sherry Dennis
Yeah, he
record.
did. I mean, Buck is,
Buck got a
unstoppable beast.
sneaky discography. You
Oh,
know,
he got that word life.
Yeah.
He did
Well,
Times Up. I didn't
a
know
lot
that.
of album
Yeah.
cuts and a lot of like uncredited remixes, and
Big L put it on.
He did Get It Together.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'd
Oh,
be
wow.
surprised when you
the
come
phone
up.
is ringing. Oh my god.
The first studio session I got to go to when I started A&Ring for Stretch, when I moved up from intern to A&R, was Buck Wild and a rapper named FT, who was from a group called Street Smarts.
Who was FT? You know FT? Was he from New York?
He was. He had a song called Metal Things. And there was
Yes.
the Buck Wild remix. Yeah,
Yes.
we pack metal things just to settle things. And so Stretch signed this guy FT, fuck that. And he was doing a record with
Wait, was
with
that
Buck
the label
Wild.
you guys had?
Yeah, it was called Spit.
Spit. That's right.
We spent $1 million of Sony's money and then put nothing out.
Whoa.
And then
Yeah.
Russell Simmons bought the name from
Buck
us
did- he
for
did
his
well?
label.
Yeah.
Spit.
I never
Which
knew
was
that.
also called Spit,
Never
which
knew
was what
Buck
Joe
Wild
Budden
did
was
well,
signed to.
yes.
Ah.
Wow.
So
And if
these-
there's no lube, you can spit. You can
yes,
spit. That's what you
exactly.
do.
Classic. But when we shared a record, we shared an office with Game Recordings with Shecky Green's label, and we used to answer
was
the
Shecky
phone.
Green's label?
Spit Game, yeah,
What
the
it
Game
talk
Girls
about,
and all
DC?
that.
Oh yeah, were the Game
Didn't
Girls
know
over
that
there?
either.
I used to get to attend Game Girls castings, which was
That's dope.
a very.
I used to buy Game
90s
records
style
just
thing.
for the album covers.
Yeah,
But
remember
wasn't-
they had that the TV show.
Yeah, Rap Network. Well, that was the first time I got to see Cash Money play live was for something called rapnetwork.com, which was you may remember a time in the late 90s where everyone needed millions of dollars to make a website.
Oh yes, I do remember that. I do remember that.
And you had to
I
have
don't. I can't afford a website.
you had to have pinball machines and receptionists
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and all kinds of stuff because you were making a portal or some such.
Mm-hmm.
And Rap Network was Shecky's vision, and it was all of we're talking about Jonathan Schechter, who founded the Source magazine and put Eminem in business and did very relevant hip hop.
Yeah, good. Bad
Character.
versus Evil was on.
Yeah,
Game.
Bad Meets Evil,
Bad
and the
Meets
cover
Evil.
of it was Midori Watley, who was Jodie Watley's sister.
Really?
Yeah, she was the game girl at Bad Meets Evil. They had two for that.
I remember that song by Jodie Watley, "Don't You Want Me." I used to think she was singing her name in the chorus. I thought she was going, Jodie Watley, Jodie Watley. I'm the worst with lyrics. Like lyrics to any song, I make up the lyrics if I
But
don't
that's
know
what
it.
songs are for,
Well-
to have your own lyrics to them, right?
I know, but I literally fuck it up. Like not on purpose. Like remember "The Rain" by Orange Juice Jones?
I do.
So I thought, because it was the 80s, I thought he was trying to be like subtle. I thought he said, I saw you walking in the... I legit thought he was like, I saw you walking in the rain.
Well, it's a little more woke. You're not gendering whoever his other may have been walking with.
Yeah.
I saw you walking in the rain. That's actually sounds something like that's a little more old Jewy. I like that. Jonathan rapping.
So here's something. You know what's funny is Cash. I was in Omaha, Nebraska, recently, and I met this old Jewish guy. Came to my show with his new wife, and he was telling me like these great stories about back in the '60s and '70s and '80s. He was involved in the record industry, and then we start talking, and I was talking about hip hop, and it turns out he was married to his sister at one point.
That's who introduced me to Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, that's what he told me. He said, I introduced Mike to Stretch.
He did. And he never let me forget it.
Yeah, it sounds about right, too.
Yeah. He's like, anytime we got in a fight about anything, 15 years, I introduced you to Stretch. And I was like, this is why we all hate you.
Respect due, man.
You can't do
Respect
one nice
due.
thing. I was like, I thanked you for that 1,000,000 times. I bought you beautiful Christmas gifts. It's 15 years later. You're a dick. There we go. Buck Wild. Man, what a pleasure he was to be around in the studio, too. Like, only said what needed to be said and was just, like, focused on beat making. I mean, I know you guys are, like, very, very close, right?
Yeah, I
like,
spoke to Buck the other day.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
DITC is, like, everything to me.
Yeah. One thing
So, like,
about,
to be in
you
the
know,
studio with him was crazy. Yeah.
everybody be every which way. That's what it be. AG could be. We just spoke to AG what today?
You spoke to AG today?
Yeah, I spoke to AG today.
Where the fuck is he?
He's in New York.
I've been begging him to come out here.
Yeah, he just actually, congratulations, AG. He's managing that girl group that he just got signed, the 300.
Fantastic.
So,
Nice. Yeah, they're
salute.
dope.
Yeah, so that's AG's doing, and I just told him I was proud of him because, you know, how does it feel to take something from scratch and make it come to fruition? So I was telling him, yeah, we definitely got to talk about that when I see you, you know. But yeah.
So AG
happy
has a
for him.
successful new project that he's managing.
He got a 2-girl group, females.
Excellent.
Female
They're dope.
MCs. And
They're like a female Mob Deep.
yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think
You
when you
say
say
that.
female Mob Deep, I think of like Boss.
What's the name of them?
Well, no, these ones are good.
I don't know the name of the group.
Okay.
I know
Was
one
Bo-
of
I
them
always
is
thought
called
Boss was one person.
Hasidity. And
Boss was
they
two
all
young
over his
ladies.
page. If you check his page.
Yeah.
AG,
Yeah, he always posts them.
DITC.
They're dope. They like rapping over Quiet Storm and all that kind of shit.
I gotta
Okay.
follow AG.
Maybe that's why I associate them with Mob Deep, because I always hear them rapping over Mob Deep tracks.
Right.
I've heard them spitting over Shook ones and
Well, it's an interesting thing to see rap get older, and like you're seeing all these things like J. Cole rapping over 93 till infinity, and I hear, like, you know, listening to Shade 45 and stuff, you hear every new rapper getting over every old beat.
I think now when they do that, they earn my respect.
So you like it.
I like it because
to me,
I
I'm
go,
like, I want to
"All right."
hear people do new shit.
Well, I like to know that they know what came before them.
Sure.
I think
Right.
that's what my big problem is with the younger generation. I feel like they don't know what happened before them. They just kind of
That's my same. That's my same thing. It's like I don't mind you know, being a part of hip hop, but at least know what you're doing and where it came from. You
Right.
can't tell me you're doing something you don't know about.
Sure.
Yeah.
But not everybody gets to be. I mean, obviously, you know, you guys were part of creating.
they're part of the history.
Creating what
You and
we
I are
know
fans.
to be hip hop. You and I are fans, and we do deep digs. But not everybody has the time or the inclination to do it, or to, you know, you got to grow up and be best friends with every rapper. Or I got to be around Stretch and John Schechter and guys like this who it's like I said, he taught me who you were because I didn't know. I had the one mixtape. I knew you were a DJ,
Right.
but I didn't know about Cash Money and Marvelous. I didn't know you invented the Transform. I didn't know, like, and not everyone has someone to say, you don't know this? Like, sit down. And also not everybody cares. So I was just sitting there blunted, 19 years old, like everything
just
this man
absorbing,
says
right?
is
Absorbing.
gold.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Like what Finesse just said, I think that's the problem with the young generation is they see the money and the popularity,
Sure.
and don't want to learn about the
Anything
history
else,
of
they're
it.
like, well, that's not going to give me money.
Right.
Right.
And I'm
But-
like, it's not always about the money. It
Right.
shouldn't always be about the money.
If
And that's,
anyone can tell you, it's not always about the money. It's me.
Picture me
I've made
coming in the
$0.
game saying,
right.
you know, I'm doing hip hop, and in my era, and they was like, well, you know, I'm saying Kane and Coogee Rap and Rakim No Matter. It's me now. I'm doing me now. I want to hear about them. Like, how would I would sound? Oh, I don't want to hear about no Melly Mel. It's me,
Sure.
my world. And that's where I think it gets disrespectful, because artists that do put time in so you can do what you doing,
Yeah.
you feel like you don't need to acknowledge them. I'm
That's
not
true.
saying bow down to them or do anything like
Well, you
that.
just be aware
but
of it.
Just
Well, I
have
think-
knowledge of what you're doing.
But when you think about yourself in your late teens and early 20s, like, did you feel? I mean, you were a record digger. I guess it was different.
Yeah, but
Whoa, don't use a hard R on that,
Mike. The difference is we had like these kids don't have music they can look at. Like we had our album cover that we could look at other.
Ours was more substantial. It feels like we had a more tangible hip hop experience.
Right, but we
Their
learned.
tangible things are Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Rolexes.
But also, I feel like you have to give people time to figure that stuff out. Like I was, not to sound too fancy, but over the pandemic, I was like, I had the free time, so I watched the entirety of Ken Burns' Jazz again. And
that's a long fucking
it
documentary.
is. It's 14 hours, but I was like rewinding because I was like, these are things that you want to remember. And when you see that, like, Louis Armstrong did everything he did and still at one point had to like run away to France to get away from his creditors and gangsters and stuff, and that people weren't respecting him because they loved the new jazz and everyone was into Duke Ellington. And then you see like Miles Davis kind of like talking shit about, simultaneously being like, whatever, like fuck Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong. And you also have quotes of him being like, Ornette Coleman's insane. Like this is bullshit music, like, and things like that.
And Coltrane
you
on
realize
heroin
that-
and all that.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a lot of the same trajectory, and you have, but then, the ones that are lucky enough to get, to grow up, have a different you get a different point of view, I think, as your scope becomes bigger. Because I had a lot to say about music and who sucked and who was awful, and I've been lucky enough to be in a lot of studios with a lot of different people, and it changes for me over time, like, and a lot of the people who people love now I don't love, and I don't know. I mean, it's just music. It's very subjective, but I think to respect like someone who puts in work and is talented, even if you don't like it, is something is an art that is often lost on.
Well, see, J. Cole earned my respect a long time ago.
Right.
I couldn't tell you one J. Cole record.
Yeah, because
I like the kid.
Anytime I hear a record, I'm like, who is this? It's always him.
Yeah.
Like I can never remember who he is, but I know that he is like one of the best doing it, and I recognize his talent. I
and those
don't care
freestyles
about
he
him.
did recently were fucking dope. When
They're
he
very
did
cool.
one in the old school style and he did one in the modern style, I was like, you know what?
Well, here's the real question: would you rather listen to 93 Till Infinity or J. Cole rapping over 93 Till Infinity?
Well, there you go. I mean, actually, I didn't mind J. Cole's version of it, so I'm good with either.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. Yeah.
I mean, just to refresh it, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
It's like you're sleeping on the same bed, but you're changing the sheets.
You got me on that one.
Yeah. Which sheets did you like better?
I like the soul.
What was your cotton count?
I feel like J. Cole has a much higher thread count than Souls of Mischief sheets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
I don't know what it means either, but it sounds really. I don't know what it means either, but it sounds.
It's provocative.
It's provocative.
Yes, it gets the people going.
Yeah, that's what it is. The LA Leakers one.
You want to talk about unpleasant names? Can we talk about the LA Leakers?
I understand the pun. Yeah.
How clever is it though? I think they're good DJs. I don't know a lot they are
they're
DJs.
DJs?
They are DJs, right?
I don't know.
I think they're like Power 106 DJs,
but
right?
Is that like? They are DJs.
But I just think of guys that are experiencing dick problems, like you're leaking.
Well, that's how you leave them. Leave their ass leaking like Lapidemos.
I've been left leaking more than once.
Hello. Oh yeah, I just saw Belly's one today. That was good too. Belly had a good freestyle today too. Yeah, and I've fucking known the guy 20 years.
So Belly is not a new rapper.
No,
He's new. He's new to me. I don't know a lot about
he's
him.
from Canada.
Okay.
I've known him about 20 years since he began in the business. I knew him as Ahmed because that's his real name.
I'm unaware, but his success is relatively recent, right?
Well, he made most of his money, I think, writing for Weekend.
Nice.
He wrote a lot of songs for The Weeknd.
The Weeknd's got an army of like 42 writers. Like half of the club promoters I know have been writing for The Weeknd for the last 4 years.
I mean, either way, The Weeknd's recouped all that money pretty good. I mean, he's doing
Yeah,
good.
no, he's doing good. He's the only guy that can get Daft Punk to make beats for him. So I don't know.
Wow.
I mean, good for him.
I remember Nile Rodgers told me a story about Miles Davis back in the 70s. He said that he was at some party, and this is when Nile and Chic were on fire. It was like 77, 78. And fucking Miles Davis goes to him, why don't you write me one of them fucking hits? Give me one of them fucking hits. And I was like, really? Yeah, write me a fucking hit. It's like, Miles is very aggressive about
Well, that's a real thing because he was signed to Sire Records after that, right? And he made like 80s kind of like funky like synthy records with Nile Rodgers.
Did he do? No, he didn't do any with Nile, did he?
Did he not? Was you're under arrest? Was that because Sire was Nile's label?
Sire was Nile's?
Yeah.
Wasn't Madonna in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Madonna was on there. Nile signed Madonna, and also Jonathan Schechter's album BMOC.
BMOC?
Yeah, the big men on campus. They wore Harvard sweaters, and it was produced by Boogie Down Productions and executive producer Nile Rodgers. It's quite a 12-inch.
I remember something like that actually.
Yeah.
Being produced by Boogie Down Productions. Going, what the fuck is this? I do remember that.
My greatest mistake.
Never took him up on writing him a hit. See,
Oh, we did. Well, no, I'm not, none of the records were hits, but I think they tried.
you know what? Nile never did it
Yeah, he's like, I'll write you a song, but it's
because if
not
Nile
going
did
to
it,
be
it would
a
have been a
hit.
fucking
Yeah.
hit. Nile's a friggin' genius with writing hits.
It's true. I mean, he's it doesn't get much better than Nile
Interesting
Rodgers.
fact about Nile Rodgers. He's actually my wedding band.
Really?
Yeah,
he
him and
played at
Chic.
your wedding.
No, he will be.
He will be.
Yeah, see, when I told him I'm getting married, he was like, "Oh, that's awesome, man. Hey, I know this great band." He goes, "I know a great band," and I go, "Awesome. If they're not available, you think Chic can do it?" And he said, "Ha ha, motherfucker."
I think if anyone could get it done, it's you.
No, always write me a motherfucking good times. That's what it was.
Yeah, write me one of the
He actually
greatest
said
songs
that
ever
shit,
made.
man.
Right?
Write
That's
me a
exactly. Now it's
motherfucking
told me the
good
story.
time.
He's like, write me a motherfucking good times.
I mean, as I understand it, Miles was a cranky person, so I could see this coming out of his.
That movie that Don Cheadle played Miles Davis in was fucking good, dude.
It's
I
heavy.
didn't get to
It's
see
heavy.
that.
You never saw it. And he
'Cause
looked
people- 'cause
exactly like
people
Miles in it.
dogged it so much, it diverted me, it discouraged
No, I
me
liked
from
it a lot.
Yeah, because I was listening to Dick Gregory. He was talking about, he goes, man, he was a motherfucking fashion statement. He only wore one outfit in the movie and was getting high and chasing a white girl down the street. That's
What was the
Dick
name
Greg-
of that movie again?
What was it called?
Miles Ahead.
Miles
Hey,
Ahead.
yeah. Dick Gregory was really
People was dogging it
upset
so
over
much that I was like, damn, I don't want to
Well,
watch
it
that.
is not good, but it is.
I enjoyed it.
But it's worth watching. Yeah, it's like if you're a music person and you like, I mean, it's a great Don Cheadle performance, and it's brutally honest. I think a lot of people don't like to hear
Well, yeah,
what
I-
a shitty person Miles Davis was, but he was not a good guy. He was
Yeah.
an incredibly talented musician, but he was a notorious drug
Yeah, I'm gonna
addict
have to
and,
check
and,
that out.
and woman beater. And
Yeah, he's like-
I was friends with his ex-wife with Frances Davis.
Really?
She was actually the hostess at the Hamburger Hamlet on Doheny and Sunset.
Wow.
And she's on the cover of Someday My Prince Will Come, one of the first black women ever to be on the cover of a major label album.
And she was a hostess at fucking Hamburger Hamlet?
Well, she loved it there. Like she would hold court because the guys that would eat there were all like, it was like Paul Cooper, who was like the old head of Atlantic Records, and like all the kind of like,
all the
it's
people she kind of knew.
it was the place in Entourage where they
I-
go for the meeting, because
Yeah.
no one would ever be caught dead there. But who would be caught dead there was like, people from the 60s and 70s, and it was a hangout for elderly Hollywood people. It's like where I would eat with my grandparents.
When I first moved to LA, I asked Lovitz because John Lovitz loves hamburgers.
Yeah, he does.
And I was like, John, what's the best hamburger? Hamburger Hamlet, Doheny and Sunset. You got to go there. And then there's another place right across from the Abbey, and they got great hamburgers too. But you got to go in the daytime, otherwise you might get mixed up with the Abbey crowd.
That's the hamburger habit.
Yeah. Yeah, there was the Habit and the Hamlet.
Yep.
Did it?
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I could see that.
Too much meat in one neighborhood. Come
I
on,
haven't
guys.
seen it in a while, but that was a classic. LA's a hamburger city, so that was always my argument. And people love LA now, but in the '90s, you'd get a lot of beef. People say LA has no soul and it's made of plastic. I was like, all we have is hamburgers and tacos. Like, you tell me that's not a soulful town,
I haven't had a hamburger that blew my mind out here.
We're a hamburger city, man. You got to dig.
Burger.
I would say
That's still
spot I
out.
went
Is that still
to
around here?
What?
Fat
the
Burger.
counter.
Oh, yeah, Fatburger's around.
Which
Okay.
one?
The counter.
The counter. Counter's a classic.
I like Shake Shack. I love
What's
their
not to
burgers.
enjoy? I mean, cheeseburgers are cheeseburgers, but
but
we've
their
got-
cheeseburgers are
We've
exceptional.
got Carney's. We had the hamburger Hamlet. We have.
So I used to go to Carney's and sit in that little caboose.
Yeah, the apple pan. Thank you very much.
What's the apple pan?
The apple pan was also just saved.
Is it still around?
It is.
Is it good?
It was about to close.
What's good about it, though?
It is a specific burger. See, all these places, they have a very different burger. It's kind of like you go to New York and it's like, you want an Italian style slice, you go here. You want a classic kind of New York slice, you go here. You want an artichoke or whatever they're doing now. So like
By the way,
Carney's
that's
is the
some good
best chili
pizza.
burger
That artichoke place,
In New
Bomb,
York?
right? It's good. Incredible.
incredible.
I like me them greasy, divey places. Those are my favorites.
Ray's famous. Ray's
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, I like diners, and I like fucking those little
I've heard this about you.
hole in the It's
wall
true.
spots?
It's very true. The
I'm a
hole in
diner
the-
guy as well.
Diner guy and hole in the wall burger place is my favorite.
There you go. Have you ever been to Astro's Family Diner in Silver Lake?
No.
It's the closest thing that we have in Los Angeles to like a New York Greek diner.
Really?
Like a place where you're just like, why is there?
Have we gone there, Paulie?
Why do you have filet of sole on the menu? Like just one of those places
Yeah, I
where
love
they
when
have
they
like,
when they have like the fucking 14-page menu.
yeah, London, you want a London broil or like a
Yeah. Do you want to make that a Diane?
some
You know?
Atlantic salmon? Like
Yeah.
but it's like no, I want.
Well, I gotta
eggs-
thaw it out.
I
I'll
want
be
an
right
egg
back.
sandwich and a yeah.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, it's classic, and they've just reopened. I was sitting
Is
at
it
that
24
counter
hours?
just a few nights ago. It's 24 hours
In a row?
in a row. Yeah, just like, it's open 24 hours a week. Yeah, it's classic. It's in a lot of movies. They do a lot of filming there late night, which is fun. But that counter right there, that's my seat. The one that's all looks like a 300-pound man's been
warped.
sitting in it for 10
The
years.
one right at the end. The only one that's twisted. You
I
gotta take a
think that's
picture of
me.
that.
That was
Eddie.
my fat back. At the
Speaking of fat back, how about backstroking?
I was doing some of that too in the hot weather.
Hello. You know, Cash Money, you're really good on this podcast.
You guys are talking about things I don't know, man.
Well, you got to get involved, kid.
Yeah, man. I don't know about the
get
diner.
involved. Get into
Astro
it.
Diner. All I know is Fat Burgers.
Fat Burger is a spot though. Is that where you hit when you come to the West Coast?
I haven't been out this way in quite some time.
All right.
Yeah, but there used to be one at that hotel, the Nico,
Yes.
right across the street.
You're talking about on La Cienega and Beverly. That was the old OG Fat Burger, which has now turned into a Hertz rent-a-car.
It's a rental-car now, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But that was the
That's
one back in the
across
day.
from La Meridian, right?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
That's the one that where
Yeah.
there'd be shootings outside of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Oh,
like
wow.
the one that Ice Cube kind of 3 a.m. went to Fat Burger. Like that was the one.
Yeah.
It was open late.
I remember that in the
wasn't a lot of
90s
them.
when I
now
came
they're
out
all
here.
over the place. They franchised. I think like that song actually had a lot to do with the popularity of Fat Burger.
Yeah, I think the name is what really made people go to Fat Burger.
Yeah. Well, it's
The
like
name Fat Burger sounds funny.
I just
Well, you
know
were
their
a
French
Fat Burger.
fries were like this thick.
They got
You-
steak fries that are
Oh
well,
my
you could do
gosh, you
steak
could choke
fries
on 'em.
or skinny fries. You get to pick there, which is nice.
No, I used to see there all the time. Queen Latifah.
What's Fat Burger, Eddie?
She used to be there all the time.
So you used to see Queen Latifah at LA Fat Burger.
Yeah, right across the.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Latifah fan. Just everything she does.
She's a cool chick.
I've never met her.
Oh, she's cool as shit.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, you hang out
Well,
with
now-
her, she'd be like, she's cool as shit. And she loves house music too.
Yeah, well, I mean,
What do you primarily play?
hard to say. Right now, mostly dance music is where I've made my home. But I listen to everything, and
Because I'm a hip hop head, but I listen to classic rock 99% of the time.
right. Like, what do I listen to when I'm like picking?
No, but when you're playing, like, do you still dig?
I do, of course.
Eh?
Every day.
Ness? I got a contestant for your show.
What's the show?
Well, I'm still working on it. I don't want to put it out there yet. But
All right.
we shot a sizzle today.
You gotta use the mic, Ness.
That's
Yeah,
what we
worst
shot
rapper
a
ever.
we shot a sizzle today. It was me. It was New Mark. It was Easy Mo B was there, and had a special surprise. My man Supreme LaRock from Seattle was there.
Oh, you came down?
I know
Came
Supreme
down.
LaRock,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah, you probably met him before.
I certainly do. I know the name.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Mike, babe.
Nice to meet you. How you doing? These chairs really make it like a full evil genius.
Oh, yeah. You
Just
you
full-
come
you
to
can't-
my front side. I will
Who's
not lie
behind
to
me?
you.
Who's around me? I don't know. But very comfortable. This
Yeah,
is
but-
a gentleman's chair.
That's why I do that. That's I'm very much a gentleman.
But that's exciting. So you're working on a show concept,
Yes.
Yes.
which we'll speak of later. But it has we know it has something to do with record digging, and then I'll be a contestant on it.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's fantastic.
Mike will know spots.
Oh, word? Is that right?
I mean, I do less and ever since Discogs. I've been doing less like IRL. Because all I ever wanted my whole life was record stores that were open in the middle of the night. You know, I think like you guys probably understand as like DJs and studio heads, like you're awake at night. Like that's when you come to life. In the daytime, it's not always convenient. And you know, like Tower Records would stay open till midnight. I was always the guy that was in there at
You
like
ever went to
11:30.
Tower Records in Japan with the multi levels?
Oh, I've never actually been to Japan, but I've heard.
That's
I
right.
know that
Cash
one's
money
That's the
No.
only
wild.
one that's still open, right?
yes.
Yes, and they are reopening, as I understand it.
I heard that.
Yeah, because records are selling and cassettes are selling. There's this
Well,
weird kind of.
My thing with the records, I think record labels are kind of fucking it up because they're not putting out some real rare obscure shit.
Yes.
Not even that. They're putting out records for artists whose listeners don't buy records.
Right.
Well, that's where I come in.
Right.
I have all the Migos and Young Thug and Travis Scott.
Not
like,
even
on-
that stuff.
I
I'm
have it
talking.
all on vinyl, and it really confuses people that have like vinyl as a genre night. Like places will be like, it's just vinyl, and like I was sitting there playing Bad and Bougie on vinyl, and the owner of the club came up to me. He's like, "No, you know it's vinyl only, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you guys only set up turntables. Like, what do you think I'm doing?" He's like, "Yeah, but you're playing like Bad and Bougie. It's a vinyl night," and I was like, "Yeah, vinyl's not a genre, fuckface." Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think to say you're having a vinyl night is to say you're time stamping the evening without saying I'm having an 80s or 90s
yeah, but
night.
I'm always here to prove to everyone that they've worded things wrong.
Like when I did I did Motown on Mondays, and every record you have to play is had to have been on Motown.
Right.
Sure.
And
so you
so I
played
played-
the Rapture.
I played this mix with remember I played that you were there that night when I
Yeah.
played the Nirvana and the Michael Jackson was over it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
counts.
this isn't fucking Motown. Then Michael comes in, they go, oh shit, okay, never mind.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. That mix was genius,
And,
though.
I mean, Boys to Men was on Motown as well,
You know,
right?
you
Yeah.
could play fucking Rare Earth. People don't know that. Motown Monday. You could play I Just Want. That shit was
Yeah,
on
Rare Earth
Motown.
was my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's
So-
you gotta. I guess when you're like always a DJ, your head goes, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I
But
gotta do.
that's supposed to be the art of DJing.
That is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
People get mad when they book me to play like 80s nights or 90s nights because to them that means like somehow a 90s night means you're playing like Britney Spears. And to me, 1999 is not the 90s. You know, like so
song?
like yeah, so someone well played. Well played.
I really thought that's what you meant.
No, I mean like the year 1999.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it was a thing. Like all the other DJs are playing like Backstreet Boys and things. Like first of all, I'm just never gonna play the fucking Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even. Yeah,
But like, so I was really going early '90s, like stereo MCs and
Make sure you're connected.
Yeah, sure. Like the Soup Dragons and like, things like that. I'm thinking like 92, 93. And then also like
Trip hop stuff.
All the rap we love is technically 90s music on a 90s night. But I think what people
Mm-hmm.
mean by that is like one hit wonders and like kind of over the top cheesy stuff. And I'm like, you can't
'Cause when it
define
comes
a
to
whole decade by that. You know,
When it
like,
comes to 80s, I always play like the corniest white boy shit when I play the 80s stuff. But
I heard your
love it.
80s set though on like, and this is proof that I actually have respect for you as a DJ is that I tweeted at Lord Sear when you were on the Drunk Mix. And I was like, yo, Sear, like you are killing it right now. And he was like, no, that's the homie Russell Peters. Because you were playing like the 12-inch version of Naked Eyes.
Yeah.
And like you were playing the classic like 80s club version sets, like the 12-inch versions.
You know what's
and, like,
funny about that mix that I sent Lord Sear? That's a mix I made for my friend when his girlfriend broke up with him. And all the songs have to do with somebody leaving you. So it's, or like something to do
Right.
with
I
that.
remember it was like another one bites the dust
You know, it
into
was
like, promises.
I
and,
wouldn't
like,
want to be like you. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be like you. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And because she was much younger than him, I played father figure.
50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. I remember that was in there. Yeah, and Father
Set Adrift, I played.
Father Figure was, but that's. I mean, you want to talk about sample flips? The way
Oh, you used to be PM Don's DJ.
Yeah.
I saw that fact. I did a little research. I had to brush up.
The only reason I ever wanted to see PM Don was because you were their DJ. I was like,
really?
I don't want to fucking see PM Don, but Cash Money's their DJ. Does he do Cash Money things on the tour?
Yeah, I do.
Did you?
I did, yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about it, please.
Yeah. I was with them around the Bliss album. Actually, I produced 2 songs on the album, and I remixed one of them, Ways of the Wind, which they made a video for.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you there for the infamous?
Nah, I wasn't there.
Okay.
The KRS-One night.
Yeah.
I just still remember
man.
the drawing, and remember they used to have the last word on the last page of the source. They had
Yeah,
the drawing,
I've seen that.
and they had that drawing of KRS-One.
Is that you there? Oh, look at you there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you guys got on the couch on Arsenio.
Yeah, what was on? We were on Arsenio twice. Then I was supposed to play with the band, and then they had Farrakhan coming on, and that's when the show ended up. I was like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a chance to play. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, as I asked Arsenio about that one night, he drove me home from, not to drop names, but Arsenio dropped me home one night after being at Eddie Murphy's house.
I love it already.
And so driving home, I was asking him all kinds of questions. And I said, hey, all right, let me ask you a question. He goes, what? I go, did you get canceled because you had Farrakhan on the show? He said, no. I had already quit. I had a month left on my contract, and I wanted to have people I wanted on, so I had Farrakhan on.
Right.
So it's more of a move where like you're comfortable enough.
Yeah. And then he said, as soon as, because I just wanted time off, he said, as soon as I gave up the show, I regretted it. He said, I regretted it. My first day off, I regretted it. And he said, I couldn't go back and be like, I want the show back. He said, I couldn't go back.
He waited till the late 90s, but then none of us
Yeah,
noticed.
but then I saw him on America's Funny Videos or something. He was on one of them shows, and then he started trying to make a comeback.
He did.
Yeah.
He had an Arsenio Hall show in the late 90s, which was super short-lived, right?
Mid-2000s.
In the 2000s, he came
Mid-2000s?
back, but he was before
Like
that.
2009, 2000, or maybe 2012
Prior
he
to
came
that,
back.
he was doing America Funny Videos or something like that.
Was
I
he?
was like, why is he doing that?
Well, I remember
man?
when he came back like 10 years ago, and he had DJ Spider on for like a week, and it was weird when he came back because I was now grown up and I knew everyone that was on the Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah.
Like in the first week, he had like Aloe Black and DJ Spider and all. I was just like, this is
It's
just
funny,
weird.
whenever
just
I talk to Aloe-
watching my friends on the
Whenever I
Arsenio
talk to
Hall
Aloe
show.
Black, I go, Aloe Black.
Aloe Black. In Europe, they call him Aloe.
Do they?
Yes. So I was like, oh, Aloe Black.
Came back in 2013
Hmm.
for one season.
And I was supposed to do it, and it got canceled. Remember? I was supposed to do it, and then I had to cancel my night because I had something going on. And then when we were rebooked, it got canceled on May 21st. The last show was May 21st. I was supposed to do it in like July or something. I was like, motherfucker! Every time I was supposed to do Arsenio, it got cut off.
And for the young people listening and watching, that was when
I don't think there's
getting
young people
canceled
listening to me.
actually meant you got canceled. That meant your show was really over. Not just that people decided they didn't care for you anymore.
You had a sitcom going.
Not culturally canceled, literally canceled.
Yeah. But
Do you
what
mean
year?
culturally canceled with Russell Peters?
I do.
That was that America's Funny video.
No, he had a sitcom where he played like he was. It was a scripted sitcom. It had 6 episodes. I think it did anything.
Yeah, that didn't do anything.
Great guy though. Let me tell you that.
I mean, legend, all-time legend. That was actually what upset me most about coming to America. Was I just wanted to see? It's like I just wanted to see him and Eddie get taken to New York and do their thing.
I think they OD'd a little on how many cameos they put in that movie.
Well, they tricked me into watching a Jermaine Fowler movie. Is what happened.
Yeah, well. Jermaine, I apologize, my friend.
No, shout out to Jermaine Fowler. I mean, no, but it is what it is. I wanted more Wesley Snipes as the warlord. He was absolutely. I mean,
I asked Eddie that night if he would. He told me, "Yeah, we're doing Coming to America 2 next year," and I go, "I'm available if you need an Indian guy in this movie." Anyway,
that's where they fucked up. They were not properly representing for you guys.
My people are never properly represented.
There's
You watch
no
any
winning.
fucking medical show that's supposed to be like in Chicago or New York, and all the there's like one Indian doctor. I'm like, have you ever been into a hospital?
Yeah,
in one of
they're
these
all
fucking
Indian
places?
doctors. Yeah,
Yeah,
and meanwhile, Hank Azaria has to take all the heat.
poor guy. There he's just trying to make a fucking
Just
living,
been on an apology tour for 5 years.
and that sucks for him.
It really does.
He didn't do it
ruined,
maliciously.
And it ruined and it changed the whole dynamic of Brockmire as well.
Oh, I love Brockmire.
Brockmire was great, and they had him being this gross asshole, and then now they have to clean up Brockmire's image because Hank Azaria was so sad about the accents that he did as a voiceover
I love
artist.
Brockmire was great. Did you watch it, Eddie? Greg used to talk about it all the time.
It's really great. I mean, those first few seasons are dynamite. I mean, he's just one of the funniest guys ever. But to watch him flail on talk shows apologizing for things that he didn't do is really a weird thing.
Yeah, that is a weird thing. I'd hate to have that. I don't want that.
Yeah, it's a peculiar thing. I mean, I'd imagine. I mean, you've said, but you get. I think when you get to do it from a stage, you get more leeway, right?
Well,
I mean, you talk a lot of shit, but that's kind of your thing.
I talk a lot of shit. I mean, Cash has seen it, Ness has seen it. They
sure.
know firsthand.
Nobody's safe.
Yeah,
But that's when it's
Nobody
fair.
is safe
If you're
with
not
this
coming
guy.
after one person and you're making jokes, then I feel like it's amazing. Like I used to manage Ego Trip as comedy writers.
the magazine.
Yes, and I
love that magazine.
They were the best, and and they had the book of rap lists.
Those were great. You have that book, right? I think I have it
the
here
big
still.
book of racism, and then they had a
Yeah,
show for.
the book of rap list. I think I have a copy of that somewhere.
And then the big book of racism is particularly good, and obviously it's out of print now because nobody wants to really touch that. But they also had a show on VH1 that was called Race-O-Rama, where they would just talk about old racism in television. Like was Tubbs calling Crockett cracker?
He probably was.
And he was. There's a lot of Crockett, please, and such. Like when he gets upset with him.
Yeah, we grew up with a lot of racist cartoons. If you really think, remember every time they would on the Bugs Bunny when they would have a gun to the guy's face, like the shotgun, and he would stick his finger in the barrel and it would still fire off, and the guy would end up with black face and big lips.
Big lips. Yeah. Yep. Right.
And none of us went, "Oh my god, that's so racist." We're like, ah.
Well, if it was Daffy Duck, it would spin his bill around.
Yeah, his bill would get spun around. And then there was that episode. Remember, it was a Daffy Duck episode and Bugs Bunny episode. Did very similar episodes where they went to the Middle East, and the girl was wearing a veil, and she was really pretty. And when she took it off, she was like, "Ooh!" And I was like, "That's what we're living in right now. That's the mask world."
It is. Yeah, well, that was what the rave world was a little bit like for me as a teen. When people wore very large clothing. I guess it might have been like that in hip hop, but it wasn't so much. It was like the girls would dress like TLC kind of with
Yes.
the huge pants
And
and,
the
huge
big
hoodies.
fucking
So
platforms.
they would have a cute face, but then it was it was anyone's guess what would happen when
You don't know what's happening under
when
those
the huge
clothes.
hoodie came off. Yeah,
Yeah.
not like me where I have a huge hoodie, but it's still very tight form fitting.
It's a very form-fitting hoodie you're wearing.
It is. I've got a little bit of cleavage, but these things happen.
I tell you, I have an interesting find. I just found KKK records. Since we're on the topic of racism,
Get open.
yeah, I found a whole bunch of them.
KKK records?
Yeah,
Like the Ku Klux Klan?
yes,
Did you get some?
Yeah, it
What color was the vinyl?
was black.
Well, isn't that interesting?
They changed their name to K-Tel after a while.
Yeah. That was Kivas Television.
No, they were on Rebel Records. You ever see that the Boondocks did an episode with this Uncle Ruckus was following this guy named Johnny Rebel, and he loved his songs, and
Well, that's
Yeah, there you
based.
go.
That's
There you
based
go, right
on
there.
a real life character. There's a
What
movie
were the
called.
records like? How racist were they?
what was
They were
one?
on KKK records. I feel
I
like
mean,
they're pretty
yeah,
racist.
I wonder if the lyrics were racist as well. Was
No,
it?
they were. They
Oh.
were like
The song's
some
called "Looking
niggas
for a
never
Handout."
die. They just smell that way.
Wow.
Yeah, Martin Luther King.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Aggressively racist, I think, is the answer.
Also timely. They were writing timely records.
Yep.
Cajun Ku Klux Klan.
Well, do you know about the?
It's funny to listen to that because they really felt that way at that time. That was real.
I don't know why you're saying at that time.
Well,
Well, according to David Duke, there is no more Ku Klux Klan.
Well, tell that to the fucking white hoods guys out there.
You know, I listen to his podcast all the time. Not really.
As
I
a
don't
Jew,
know
you
that
want to
he
stand
has a
for him?
podcast. But if he did, I don't know. I'm going to leave this one alone. But there is a guy who. Have you heard of? I can't remember his name. There's a movie called Accidental Courtesy about like an infamous rock musician who is a black man who does collect Klan hoods because he gets people out of the Klan, and every time he does it, they give
I
them.
did see that. I
The
saw
documentary, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
big
there he
dude,
is.
that guy, yeah.
Yeah, Daryl Davis.
Yeah, you know who was talking?
Yeah. And he
Rogan was
is-
talking to me about him.
He's a very polarizing character because a lot of people feel that he's just like fetishizing the Klan and like doing this, and that the effect is not worth
That's
the
a Grand
attention
Dragon he's with, too.
that he's
Damn.
drawing with. Yeah, no, he's gotten Grand Wizards out and Grand Dragon, so he's got like something like 37 Klan hoods in his garage.
Nice.
And he collects all the like ephemera, so probably like these records that you're talking about, and like all this stuff. He's got a whole house full of it.
How many crosses does he have?
You know what? I always wondered why.
That's a hell of a cross
Why
to
did
bear.
the DJs call themselves Grand Wizards and Grand Masters?
I don't know. Talk to Theodore and Flash.
Well, because
Yeah.
that is the
Oh, Lil's now.
How'd you get the name Cash Money?
interesting.
Basketball.
Yeah, I don't see the connection.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that
no.
was in your
No,
wiki
'cause I could
actually.
shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that time, everybody was like I said, Grandmaster, Cutmaster, or something. And I just wanted something that would fit. So every time I would shoot, everybody used to be like, "Oh, that's Cash Money." So it just stuck.
That's true. Well, Finesse is a lord.
He is.
Lords, like a lords and ladies.
Yeah.
Do you think you started the Lord era?
I think it could have been a lord or something before me. I'm not exactly sure.
Because there's a lot of lords out there now.
But yeah, I just ain't want to be a master or cool or MC.
You're just in the court. You're just
I just wanted something when you say the name, that shit meant some shit.
Yep.
yeah.
Lord, Finesse. Oh shit.
Absolutely.
Remember they first introduced me at the seminar, and coming up next is Lord Finesse. But I guarantee you, after that first round, they knew that
They knew
shit
that-
very well.
Oh, they said it like they didn't know who you were.
Yeah, they said it like because I was going against Mikey D in the first round, so it was like okay.
Mikey D. I don't remember Mikey D.
He was on sleeping. Sleeping
Yeah,
bag.
he was on sleeping bag.
It wasn't. Miz was a Philly guy, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. Fresco too.
Yes.
No, Fresco was from New York.
Fresco was from
New York.
Brooklyn.
He's from Brooklyn.
Ain't you Fresco?
Yeah.
Miz was dope. Is he a lawyer now? Somebody told me Miz was a lawyer now.
Nah.
No? Do you see him? Do you know him?
I know him. I don't really see him that much, but
He's still in Philly?
yeah, I see him like pop up once.
I
in a
want to know
blue
who
moon.
else you know, Cash.
I know everybody. Start naming them.
I mean, all the Philly cats.
Yeah, I know everybody. We all grew up together.
Tat Money.
Yep.
What was
Tat-
that?
over my this goes over
Yeah, who
my,
was Schoolie
my
D's DJ
daughter's
again?
prom. Schoolie.
Who was
Yeah.
his DJ again? It was
Code Money.
Code Money, yeah.
Code,
Code Money.
like CODE.
CODE. Code Money.
Yeah.
Code.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of Code Money.
I remember that.
That's where
that.
that's where my knowledge
Yeah.
ends.
Well, so, hey, Schoolie was like a first guy to say some like ill gangster shit on a record too. I remember
Yeah, he
that.
was. Like his whole cadence is what kind of.
Yeah.
I remember losing that argument where I was like getting out to New York and talking to my friend who was from there about, you know, I was just like, well, he's like, LA rap never did anything for anybody. And I was like, well, you know, what about like, you know, we kind of brought the funk to it. And he's like, you ever heard of EPMD? And I was like, well, what about the gangster shit? And he's like, well, you ever heard of Schoolie D? I was like, okay, well, I've lost the argument.
Man, Schoolie was a hood hero coming up because he used to sell records out of the trunk of his car. I'll never forget, man, like, you know, we wasn't making that much money doing hip hop back then, but he had a Lincoln Town car he bought, man. Like,
Oh, wow.
we was like, damn. He always had the fat dookie rope on, man. We was like, damn. That's who we want to be. He's that
He made
guy.
us want Gucci watches.
Yeah.
Looking at my Gucci.
This is all his
But,
fault. He did this to
Yeah,
us
he
with the
did.
Gucci.
Now he's doing paintings.
You know, I don't want to say too much about it, but when we had him on Hip Hop Evolution, we interviewed him, and he wanted a bag of something, and it wasn't green. And then, so
Was
we
it
got him
gold?
the
Was it a bag of gold?
It was a bag of gold. Acapulco gold, I believe. And I remember we gave him that. He did the interview, and I guess he went away and finished that bag, and then called us up like 2 a.m. Yo, I want to talk some more.
Yeah, no
We're like, what? What the fuck? I still to this day have not met Schoolie D, but I remember
I have met Schoolie D. He was a very cool motherfucker.
Just Ice was a cool motherfucker when I met him. I remember meeting Just Ice in 2005 at Hammerstein. I was there, 2005, 2006. And he was standing beside me. I go, yo, you Just Ice? He goes, yeah. Are you Jamaican? He goes, yeah, my mom's from Clarendon. I was like, oh, shit. We started talking because, that was always my point of reference for people. Like my entry point was, are you Jamaican? Let me talk. Let's talk. Because, that's what I know the best.
Right.
And then I remember, let's go get a drink. We went to the bar and I got him a drink. And I think I slipped him $100. Like, hey, man, here. And he was like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah. But he still seemed like a gangster.
But was he wearing a big leather hat that
sure
said
the
Just
fuck
Ice
was.
on it? Yeah.
He sure as fuck was.
That's what
still.
I was saying to Cash earlier. Just Ice was the first rapper I ever saw in real life. I was like 9 or 10 years old. It was a layover in Chicago, and I'll never forget. I walked off the plane. There was someone waiting to get on, and you knew it was Just Ice because he had a big leather hat on that said Just Ice.
It was an MCM one. Or it was a Gucci one.
And I was like, rappers are real. They're real people. It had never really occurred to me that
Just
when
Ice used
someone
to be
jumps
around
off the record shelf
everybody.
into your
I'm
life.
seeing pictures of photos of him with like I think Pete Rock just posted something with him and Heavy D. I was like, man, just
I think if you look at Strictly for the Ladies, he's in Strictly for the Ladies.
okay.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He was just
It's
around.
a bar scene.
And his impact like overseas, like guys like Schoolie D and Just Ice in particular, like the English dudes.
Oh,
love
yeah.
them.
Well, Schoolie they like because he's in England, especially because he's Jamaican. So they loved Schoolie. Just Ice. They loved Heavy D. They loved Pete Rock. But
like,
give them all the West Indian guys. Like, yeah, that's our guy.
In the mid to late 90s, like Big Beat era, like Fatboy Slim and the Chemical Brothers and Propeller Heads and
Let's
stuff
go
like
back
that.
from Fatboy Slim with Lord Finesse here. Because right about now.
it's the funk soul, bro.
Hey, do you remember exactly what
that was settled in some
Wait,
way,
Ness,
was it not?
do you remember exactly what you said in that drop that they chopped up and put in that song together for that song?
Yeah, all you gotta do is put up the Vinyl Dogs intro.
All you need is your microphone too. I'm just saying.
But it go.
Ness? Yeah,
oh,
there we go.
I
Yeah,
keep
sorry.
forgetting. I'm thinking I'm just talking out.
You are. That's how this podcast goes. We're just talking, but
Yeah, it's
sometimes
like-
we still need the mics.
Coming live and direct. Check it out now. It's the Funk Soul Brother, the Lord Finesse. And if you digging, keep digging. Check it out now. And I said it again. And
I did not
now.
just get goosebumps.
Pretty cool, right?
So yeah,
Because he still sounds like that guy on the record.
Yep.
he is that guy on the road. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's pretty-
I actually pointed out to Royal Flush. You can barely hear it, but on the other song, on the one with the Christopher Walken Spike Jonze video,
Right.
there's very quietly a loop of Royal Flush that runs through the whole thing. Going,
I'm so glad he's
go
got that.
for broke or get your team smoke. Go for broke or get your team smoke from
That's Royal
Worldwide from Royal Flush. Yeah,
I love Worldwide. Boom, boom,
exactly. Yeah, with the
Billy Preston?
Billy Preston sample. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Royal Flush was here at my house about a month ago.
that's my fucking guy. He was here, really.
Yeah, he was in town a month ago.
That's amazing.
He came over, him, his wife, a whole bunch of people.
He and I, for 1 week, I owned the beat for Uchi Wally.
You did?
And I recorded Royal Flush over it right before he went to on vacation, and he
And he lost the beat.
well, it was we were doing it.
Do you still have that?
A compilation? I do. I have the track we did over it, and it was proof to me that I knew how to pick beats because
Yeah.
we were doing a compilation. I was A&Ring a compilation for Stretch's label and
Spit?
For Spit, yeah.
Abe
And it
Hawk's
was
label?
basically like we had 20 grand to do the whole thing. We were going to do 10 songs, pay each MC $1,000, each producer $1,000, and I said, well, let's get Royal Flush because I had just seen him at the club the night before and we had exchanged numbers and smoked weed and whatever and just were talking shit. And he's like, yeah, let me come by the studio. And so he said, well, who do you want to produce it? And I said, well, Easy LP, obviously, because Ice Down Medallions. And Easy LP brought us a bunch of beats. And I'm a sucker for anything that has those Al Green drums and like an Asian sound. So like, you know, there was like open mic night, story to tell. I mean, everything like going back to Paper Thin, like anything that has those Al Green drums. I'm just
LP did,
a sucker
Paper
for. No, he did not. But like it just has those same, those, you know what I'm talking about.
Those rim shot type of sounds.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the little rim shots. And it was that with that crazy bugged out sample. And then I played it for Flush and he loved it. And he and his cousin, Wastelands, I want to say was his name, like laid down verses over it. And then he went away the next day. And then Easy LP came back and he had signed some kind of boilerplate contract and we'd given him $1,000 check. And he came back and he was like, yo, can I have that? Can you tear it up? Here's your check back. Nas wants it for the Bravehearts album. And they're going to give me like 10,000.
Right.
So I was like, well, I didn't really want to find out what happens when you say no, you know. So I was just like, yeah, no, of course, you know, take it back. And then, you know, I'm not saying, basically I'm saying you're welcome to the world for Uchiwali.
Oh, look at you, huh?
Wow.
Because I could have, if I wanted to be that guy, I could have held on to it.
You could have been a real
But I
dick.
did not. But also, I mean, we did not know what that record was going to be. Obviously, if if we had put it out on our compilation that no one heard, like it wouldn't have been what it was.
I
But
would
that
like-
song is still a monster on the
It's
dance
a fucking
floor.
beast.
Yeah.
I would still, you know what I would like is to get a story to tell without the guitar in it. Just have Bucky send us that beat without the ding, ding, ding. Just take that out.
It is.
That was the
doable.
part of the song that I didn't like.
Really?
I didn't
Well,
like
you know
the-
that's not the original sample.
No?
Well, that's not that was a replayed guitar.
That was a replay.
Right,
but I still
because
don't like
the original one was a sample that they couldn't
get
Clear?
clear. There's a
yeah.
demo version that is around if you look on the internet. It doesn't
I
sound
got
great,
a demo
but
version of that on 45.
yeah, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a different song. I love Story to Tell as it was
So it
because I
sound
mean
like some,
it's mastered and mixed so
European
beautifully.
sample,
I got it.
right?
I got the original in the computer.
Okay.
Laptop.
I'd imagine there's quite a bit of heat in there.
Oh, it's a lot of heat in there.
How'd you clear those fucking records for Ugly People Be Quiet and all that?
Sample clearance wasn't around back then.
Oh, yeah,
that was pre
Because you had like everything in that.
Sure did.
You had
Had
Long
the-
Red, you had
Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
What else did you have in that?
A lot. Like it's all. I mean, there's a lot in that record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
And then, God damn.
Yep. Long Red. Let me see what else I had in there. The Mexican.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Where was the
Yep.
Mexican in it?
Yeah.
It wasn't the Mexican that break beat. It was Jelly Bean Benitez had
Yeah, the
this.
Jelly Bean Benitez
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
I had that record. What Up Ski?
Is that the?
That was the name of that album that the
Okay.
Mexican was on.
What was the part?
You know,
where
and then
that-
Ski was a big name in the 80s as well, too,
Yeah.
Rob. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh man, he's going back to my first name. My first rap name was like Rob Ski.
For real.
Yeah, man. And he
You know,
don't-
people
he
used to
don't-
say that everybody called themselves that because they was doing. Yeah.
Oh,
Skiing.
Oh, they were doing the slalom dance.
I
they
wasn't
was
doing that.
They was
It
doing
was-
this. Yeah.
It's called
Nose
Slalom because you
can.
were alone.
Oh, the
Yeah, well, I
not
ain't call
green
myself
bags.
that
Yeah.
because, you know, wasn't doing that. But yeah, Russ don't ever let me forget that. You know, he always do that.
Did you have another name before DJ Cash Money?
Yeah.
You know you did.
DJ Baby Flash.
Oh, no.
It was horrible, man.
Oh, no.
You're not
That's why I
supposed
said
to
Cash.
flash babies.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was horrible.
Or get flashed by babies.
I think that's a felony.
Yeah. What did you get locked up for? Baby flash. Yeah, it was
Baby
not
Flash should have been J.O. Felonies, DJ.
good. Oof.
Yeah, I had that name and Cool Ice Rome.
Cool Ice Rome? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Jerome, right.
Cool Ice Rome is
Cool
really
Ice
good.
Rome.
Man, it was corny.
When
Coming up next on the Wheels of Steel is Cool Ice Roll.
On the Wheels of Steel, he is cool.
But I will say, to Finesse's point about putting the Lord in front of the name, it really does something, because I used to just be DJ Mike B and no one knew who the fuck I was, and there was 12 others. Right. And then one day I put the in front of it, literally overnight career success.
Yeah, because I love calling you the.
It's a thing. People
I
just call
texted
me
him. I was like, the?
Yeah.
You don't have to finish it.
You don't even have to do it. Well, because it was also a way of kind of being like, I was so annoyed by all the other, before the
I used
internet.
to spell it with a K.
What,
cool ice roll.
Like Cool and Deadly.
Right, there you go.
Here's the thing, guys. We all know that taking a multivitamin is probably in our best interest. But so many of them are big, chalky pills that aren't exactly fun to take. And for me, at least, that means I don't take them as often as I should. But Ritual is different. Their capsules are small and sleek, and they have a fresh, minty taste that makes taking vitamins a lot easier. I know it sounds simple, but that alone has helped me develop a better vitamin habit. Plus, Ritual's clean, vegan-friendly multivitamin is formulated with high-quality nutrients in bioavailable forms your body can actually use. That means you won't find sugars, GMOs, major allergens, synthetic fillers, or artificial colorants in there, because none of that stuff belongs in a vitamin anyway. With Ritual, you'll always know what nutrients you're taking and where they come from, thanks to Ritual's one-of-a-kind, visible supply chain. Like I said, I feel like the fresh-tasting gel capsule makes it easy for me to remember to take my vitamins now, because I don't mind taking my vitamins. If you're anything like me, you might need some help forming good habits. So Ritual actually helps me to do that. And unlike other vitamins I've taken in the past, Ritual vitamins never make me feel queasy. Their delayed-release capsule design delivers high-quality nutrients, including vitamin D3, which is a very important vitamin in the COVID era we're living in. And that's in just 2 daily pills. So all I have to do is swallow a pill that tastes like a breath mint twice a day, and then congratulate myself on a job well done, which I'm very eager to do. And if you still aren't sure that you'll be able to develop a good vitamin habit, know that Ritual will make sure you never run out. Your multivitamins are delivered to your door every month with free shipping, always. You can start, snooze, or cancel your subscription anytime. And if you don't love Ritual within the first month, they'll refund your first order. Get key nutrients without the BS. Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/Peters to start your Ritual today.
Cool Ice Roll.
I think that's the way everybody spelled cool back then. Cool Rock Ski spelt it that way.
Yeah.
You know,
Cool
what's-
work.
you know what's? This is a funny story.
Finally.
That people didn't even know. They this guy. Yeah. When I got signed to Sleeping Bag, me and Marvelous, we always had arguments all the time.
Right.
Just creative things. He just wasn't as serious as I was. Yeah. So I had another MC named Cool Breeze. So
Wait, I remember Cool Breeze. He ended up with somebody else, didn't he? Oh, that was DJ Cool Breeze.
No.
Remember this DJ Cool Breeze? DJ Cool Breeze is...
You talking about Breeze from L.A.?
No, DJ
MC
Cool Breeze.
Breeze?
No, DJ Cool Breeze. There was a guy named DJ Cool Breeze.
Was it with a K as well?
No, I don't think it was.
I know it was a soundtrack called Cool Breeze, right?
Hey, DJ Cool Breeze.
Yeah.
Wasn't he there was a Dungeon Family Cool Breeze as well, right?
Gucci Mane. Wait, what? DJ Cool Breeze. I remember
Yeah,
on...
the C stands for Cool Breeze, who's known as the champ, right? Is that...
Do you remember on 3 Feet High and Rising, when they did that little segment? It was like DJ Cool Breeze is rocking it, rocking it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they did it on 3 Feet High and Rising. They mentioned him.
And this
That's
is
where I knew the name from.
But so this is not the same Cool Breeze.
No.
Pittsburgh?
Cool Breeze Steve. So you probably saw or heard those tapes up in Toronto.
Right.
That's who was my MC. Well, Mantronics wasn't feeling him like that. He didn't feel as though he was up to the par with his rhymes. So he connected me with
Marv?
no, he connected me with Bryce Love from Groove Theory. He was my MC for a while.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, yep. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
Bryce is my guy.
But the problem was he was from Queens and I'm in Philly, so the distance was killing us, man. So me and Marv ended up mending our ways, and then we got back, and Mantronics like Marv. So that's how the whole Ugly People Be Quiet thing happened.
Interesting
Yeah.
fact,
Wow.
Curtis Mantronic is South African, moved to Canada,
And then he ended up making music with you guys. He started doing his music I think he went to New York from there, right?
Yeah, he lived on top of the Sleeping Bag Records. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One thing about Mantronix, he's underrated, man.
Yes.
He, as a producer
Innovator.
and as a innovator and as a programmer. His programming was just ahead of his time, especially when you look at hip hop records that didn't have samples like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I tell him all the time, like, you do know that you started the triple hi-hats. That's what they're doing right now.
The triplets, yeah.
Yeah, take all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
I said, you were
I
doing
remember
that back then.
I bought the Needle to the Groove 12-inch because the fucking graffiti and art on the 12-inch was so dope. I was like, yo, I need this.
Right.
I used to buy records based on their covers sometimes if I didn't even hear them. Like I bought that, what's his name that did the cuts on Rocket?
Oh, DXT.
Yeah, I bought that Grand Mixer DXT 12-inch Grand Mixer.
That was the shit.
But the album cover looked so dope to me, you know? With the fucking nameplate belt and the Kazals.
Yep.
And I was like, yo, that's so dope.
See, and that goes back to when we was talking about, the younger generation. See, covers meant something to us.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I bought,
there's no physical, now everything that's been my favorite album of the last 5 years. Like if I go to Amoeba and I see the album cover, I'm like, this is the album art?
Yeah.
Because you don't even know, like Spotify, it's just a little blue cube.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I don't even know what I'm hearing. And that's why it's more forgettable. And even back then, if you bought an album that if I bought something I didn't like, that meant I only listened to it like 10 times.
yeah, you still knew the album. Even like I bought Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because it was on Profile.
Right.
And I remember them being on Pumpkin and the All-Stars.
Right.
And I was like, yo, this is those guys from Pumpkin and the All-Stars. This is going to be a dope record. And it's on Profile. And the album fucking sucked. I remember when I met Andre Harrell at Russell Simmons' house, I was like, Russell goes, you know what, Andre? I go, no. Hey, he goes, hey, Andre, this is Russell Peters. I go, hey, man, hey, can I get $6 from you? He goes, what? And I go, because I bought that fucking album back in the day.
Oh, man.
That's what I said.
He gave me a dirty look, and I go, yellow panties? Really? And all she had on was a pair of yellow panties.
See, that's what I mean. Even stuff you didn't like, it was like, I bought this,
And I'm going to
so
listen
I'm
to
going
it.
to listen to it because this is my entertainment for the night.
I bought the Jelly Bean album because of the graffiti on it.
Right.
I remember playing, going, this isn't hip hop. But after a while, I knew every fucking record on that, every song on that album.
And that album was hot, though.
Now I think back, it's a dope album, but I would never have bought it if the album art wasn't so dope.
I think in that era, that era created real hip hop fans.
Yes.
Because wasn't no video. You had to look at the cover. And if the cover ain't had no picture, you had to kind of imagine what the rapper sounded like.
Right.
Look like.
So you mean if you had like a club 12-inch?
So an artist really had to sell himself on a record as a lyricist, as a dope record to make you go, I want to go see this dude live in concert.
Right.
Because you ain't know what he looked like. You ain't know what you was getting. You just know I like that record.
Right. But I feel like the less connotations, the better. There were plenty of albums that were terrible that I loved because of the cover art, like particularly in the early 90s, like anything that had like a weed leaf on it was just going to get bought. So I would end up with like Total Devastation and things that were, not great, but I would listen to, but I'd be like, I
you
love
spent
them.
your money.
Yeah.
I'm getting my money's worth out of it.
But and I say this like I was saying earlier about there's no good genres. I think that there are good genres, but only when there's like less than like 70 to 100 releases. So I think that's why people hold on to that golden era hip hop, because when you're talking about like the 80s, like up until in the early 90s when there was like major labels putting out tons of stuff, you only had so many records. And I think we relate to that time when it's like when something's new and everything that has that new sound you're going to like. And then it gets
Those album covers
overblown.
were important because they kind of dictated what you like. When I bought Cash's 12-inch and the album, he had his foot up on the turntable and he had those Nikes on. I was like, yo, with the black and green and the white and the Velcro
Jacksons,
strap.
The Bo Jacksons.
I was like, yo, I want those sneakers. I couldn't find them anywhere. And then I eventually found them, but I found them in blue, white and blue.
Right.
I bought them anyway, but I was like, I want the green.
Right.
I want the green and black. 'Cause I want the Cash Money sneakers.
For me, that was the grape ices that MC Search had on the Pop Goes the Weasel 12-inch. bunch.
And the weasel goes pop.
Yeah, and he's jumping up in the air, but he had the purple and green ones, which were like not easy. Later to be known as the Fresh Princes for some reason.
Yes.
Formerly known as the Grape Ices.
Like I said, I think that's what is missing out of music today.
Is the
It's the connection, man.
well, it's
Like,
also
you know,
like it's iconography. It's just like you see something and you're like, I want to be that. But now
Yeah.
everything moves too fast. Like
Oh, everything.
everything has a dope music video that you've never seen, and no matter how much time I spend just sitting around being up on everything, I've basically like foregone having a real life so that I can just listen to music. I think everyone in here can relate to that a little bit. And then no matter what, as soon as you let someone else in your studio, it's like, oh, you haven't heard this shit?
Oh yeah.
And it's like better, it's incredible, and it's frustrating. Like it's like because it moves too fast. There was a time where you could actually be an authority.
Yeah, milk,
on music.
milk, bread, and eggs have a longer shelf life now than the music does.
It's wild.
that is true.
Just about right.
Yep, that is a fact.
I've had a loaf of bread sit there for a month and I still ate it. It was good. But you hear a new song and next week it's dead.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It was hot. All these TikTok videos, now it's dead. Cash has a lot of cool shit. Whatever happened to your coffee table book that you were going to do?
Never got to it.
I'm telling you, that book is... Now is the time. I've been telling you that. You need to hire a good-ass photographer.
Right.
And Paulie, you got to help him with this, man. He's got like all this really cool shit, like memorabilia type stuff, and it would make an amazing coffee table book.
Yeah, I have some weird.
Well, just
Yeah,
the 52.
I got like 1,200 sealed 8-track tapes of the most rarest things, records. Yeah, pinball machines.
You got pinball machines?
Yeah,
How big is your damn house?
yeah, it's in storage though. A lot of them. Japanese slot
it is.
machines. Yeah, like the rarest ones.
Yeah,
These are heavy things. I feel like wild for just having records and tapes and stickers and skateboards in my house.
And
You've
records.
got slot machines and pinball machines. That's the next level of
Yeah,
collecting.
yeah. But the thing that I collect are because I got like Bruce Lee pachinko machines that have. I got them because they have the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's on there.
Oh, right.
The Game of Death one?
Return of the Dragon.
I got
Game of Death.
I got Game of Death and Enter the Dragon. So Jim Kelly's in the other one.
What is it called?
They're pachinko machines.
That sounds racist.
Yeah, right.
talking about an
Return of
Asian
the
guy.
Dragon was Chuck
Hey,
Norris.
Well, no,
not
pachinko.
Kareem.
I mean, it sounds
But I
pretty
believe
fucking awful.
he fights Kareem early in the movie to get
Remember
to
Kareem
Chuck
kicks him in
Norris.
the chest and his foot's on the... Pachinko, that's really the name of it, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think they should do something with an Asian guy and call it Pachinko.
Al Pachinko.
Yeah. He's very huge in Asia.
So you have a bunch of these.
Type up.
It
type
seems
up,
like a good time to sell them. They seem to
Enter
be
the
worth a
Dragon.
fortune.
Pachinko. See what pops up.
Enter the Dungeon? Is that what that said? I like that.
Oh, is that the one you got? Mm-hmm. That's fucking dope. What is it, like a Plinko machine?
Yeah, but
You drop a coin down?
it interact. No, you got these. I hate to say this around. You gotta put these balls in.
No, you're allowed to say all of this now.
Nah, man, not around him.
What do you do with your balls, Cash?
Did you see that
You
this?
got these. I can't even say. I can't even explain
say
it
it,
right,
come on.
man. You gotta put these steel things in there, man.
Yeah, they're round,
They're round.
spheres.
Little steel
A
spears.
spherical ball machine, a pin sphere machine. Yeah. Well, you heard there was a basketball player who was just fined for saying no homo in an interview.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Because you're not supposed to.
Could you imagine
I mean,
if
it's
you-
considered hate speech.
Yeah, but here's what they gotta do.
It's homophobic.
They
it's
gotta
homophobia
figure
on the top
out-
level.
What your intention is when you're saying it. Like, I call my brother gay all the time.
Sure.
He calls me gay all the time. It's like, yo, what are you doing? I'm just, oh, you're so gay. Like, and we'll say it to each other on the least gay thing you could do. Like,
Yes.
I'll send him a picture of me and my lady, and I'm like, so gay. And I'm like, it's literally the least gay thing I could send you.
Yeah.
You know, but it has nothing to do with sexuality.
No, you're gay for your fiance. I get it.
The thing about these machines are they're moving parts in there, and they interact with the actual movies. That's why they're so dope. I don't know how they did it with the licensing.
Oh, they still make them.
No, they're used because they were in the casinos over there. So they just go and destroy them.
Well, yeah, they like
They gotta
they
keep up new
rebrand
stock
them,
all
right?
the
Yeah,
time.
so like
yeah. But
they
they're
take
heavy
the
as
parts
shit,
and they
man.
make new ones. So how many pachinko machines do you have?
I got like pachinko about 15.
You've got 15 of them?
Yeah.
That's
Where'd you get
more
them from?
pachinko machines than I have.
Yeah, that's.
I've got none.
I've been collecting them for the longest, man. So what they do is they put them on because they're heavy as shit. They're like 100-something pounds. So I gotta buy them in bulk. So they basically ship them over here, and then they put them on this big ass crate thing, yeah, and they put it in front of my house. Yeah.
And how does this start? Like, what was your gateway into pachinko collecting?
Traveling to Japan.
And you just saw
And I
them and
went
you
to the
connected
casino,
with them and you wanted
because
them?
they got a bunch of them in there, man. I'm just like, yeah.
So it's
I was
just that's.
I was
I mean,
hooked.
that's collect. Like I collect skateboards and weird stuff where it's, you just see it and you're just like, I need it, and then you go home and you try to find more, and then you just end up.
Yeah, so I've been
having
collecting them for a long time.
What about the stuff you have, like the boom boxes? Was it all retroactive that you bought them all, or did you have stuff from when you were a kid?
Now, I had some of them when I was a kid, but just like I was telling Finesse earlier, it's just like collecting records, right? After you find pretty much all the records that you have, then you start finding these albums on different formats,
Right.
cassettes, 8 tracks, reel to reels, like, and that's what that blows my mind when I find something like that, man. Like, especially I started collecting 8 tracks because I wanted all the breakbeat albums
Right.
that I had on as an album.
Do you have Bob James on 8-track?
Oh yeah, yep.
Wow.
I was telling, huh?
Mardi Gras?
Yes,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Which is wild because you can separate those, like right.
Well,
like
if you have,
can-
some of them came out as quads.
right.
Yeah, you can separate the channels that way. But I don't open them up; they're all sealed.
I remember in the late 70s, my
That's
brother
amazing.
figured out how to record over an 8-track. And my parents had a Montevani waltz 8-track that they used to play. And my brother recorded Ring My Bell, Eye to Eye Contact by Edwin Starr, all these disco songs on one. And we were driving to New York. And I remember my parents put it in and goes, "The hell is this?" And my brother ran in the back seat. And they let it play.
Right, because they had blank 8 tracks back then.
No. My brother recorded over one.
Well, it's the same as a tape, right?
Yeah,
You
I
just
think
like
it
a
is.
cassette.
There's a little
the
slot,
Kleenex
yeah.
Right.
in the little square, and then
Yeah. But I didn't know we had a recorder. Well, I didn't know we had an 8-track recorder in the house.
Right.
And he recorded them from the turntable, from the vinyl.
Your brother's a
That's an
genius,
elaborate-
man.
Yeah, it was.
scheme.
I remember
He's a
driving out there.
genius.
I contact you when.
And this was what was on the 8-track that your father thought he was going to
It
do.
was waltz. It was
like, just like-
Montevani. It was a
right.
waltz 8-track. Like it was my parents' music.
and he was not ready for that disco destruction.
Yeah,
like-
no, because
like-
my dad would always play the same 8-tracks in the car. Would be Frankie Lane, the Mills Brothers, Patsy Cline, Connie Stevens,
Right.
or Connie Francis, both of them actually, both Connies, and that's all we'd ever hear in the car. Driving music for us was like Mule Train, ha,
Right.
and Louis Armstrong and all that kind of stuff would be played in the car. But my brother figured out how to record over Montevani.
Wow.
that's well played.
Yeah, I was. And I look, my brother was 15 then. I was 9. So I remember just going, hee hee. We don't
Like,
have to
that
hear
was the
this
coolest
shit.
thing ever.
Yeah.
Big brothers doing things that are against your parents are like
yeah.
the coolest things.
The players.
Yeah, that was looking up 8-track.
No, Dynamite 8-track. These are the dopest. Oh no, they're Dynamite TNT 8-track players. I have every color.
Those
And now,
ones?
are you in
Yeah,
touch
you go
with
like that?
Oh, and it would change tracks?
Yeah, yep.
Are you in
Those are like
touch
4
with
tracks on
the
it.
larger community of like pachinko machine and 8-track
Yeah, I belong to a group,
collectors?
yeah.
And yeah, so
Are you
like,
part of a pachinko chat room or something?
Yeah.
What is it
well,
called?
for
Pachat?
everything, there's a
Patchy talk.
there's a
Patchy talk.
Yeah.
there's a society for any bullshit that you
Yeah.
want to collect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because if something breaks, hey man, I'm having this problem. Can anybody help me out? And they'll be, hey, yeah, try this, turn it off, turn the key, blah 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 blah. Yeah.
It's wild.
Jimmy J.J. Walker has a commercial promoting these.
From back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know
It's a brand new one.
Yeah.
This
shit's a dynamite.
That's actually what he said.
was dynamite. Right, of course, we dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Dynamite TNT intro. Okay, I see what happened there.
I never saw those back then. I don't even remember those.
Yeah, I have every last color of those, and they also had these cassette as well, cassette players.
And what kind of balls do these take?
Oh man.
Well, you see, that's why you
And
gotta
there's no
go with
easy
the
way to
classic.
explain it,
You
you
gotta
know?
go with the classic pause as opposed to no homo. It's not
Yeah,
hate
I
speech.
was a big pause
and
fan.
that can be.
And even pause now we don't use. We use AO if anything.
No, well, AO is when you're busted. Pause is when you are aware of what. See, I spent a lot of time around Lord Sear and Stretch, and
Yeah,
as
see,
I
there's a
understand it,
type
they
of,
kind of. Yeah, but AO was if you got busted saying, so like I put my balls in it as AO. But if you're saying
Ayo.
it, you would say pause. I put my balls in it. That means I recognize what I'm saying sounds sexual, and you can't.
I will
AO
no,
me.
but I would say something, and then I put in brackets when I'm texting. I'm like, by the way, AO, and then I'd continue.
Well,
my
that's just
sentence.
calling yourself out.
Oh,
If
yeah,
you
yeah.
do pause, then
I'm
you're
aware
free.
that I'm saying this, but AO
Yes.
anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey yo.
Yeah, AO, exactly. We get the
Ayo.
line. Ayo. Well, when you get a run on AO from someone, when someone's like, they're totally unaware of it, but it just keeps going on, and they're like, yeah, like it was real long, and you're just like, hey, yo, it's like, and it started to hurt.
You should add that to your other risk because you have yeah on this one. You
Well,
gotta put-
oh, yeah, and then
you
I
gotta-
can have AO over
yeah,
here.
right there.
And then I can have who's this? Yeah, I can just keep going to any
What
number.
you got? That's the only
Of
tattoo
statements. I have a few tattoos. I have which is for our friend
for DJing.
DJ AM. I have this for my brother. All my tattoos are fun
That
tattoos
looks
for
like
dead people.
Is your brother dead?
One of my brothers is dead.
How
yeah.
many siblings do you have?
I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
But now you're down to one.
And now I'm down to 1 brother and 2 sisters.
There you
go. Just the one.
Just one.
But it's a dead Kennedy's logo. So
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was like, that's a
Handwritten.
handwritten.
This was his signature.
Oh.
And then I've got a Wu-Tang logo on my back.
Oh, that's a weird place to have it.
It's
I don't know who that's for, to be honest with you.
Well,
You don't want jizz on your back.
Pause. I've got jizz on my back.
No homo.
Well, that's just a heavy name. That's just someone he should have just paused when he just came out rapping like the RZA, the pause, Jizza, the old dirty bastard.
The AO.
Yeah, it's a gross name. I think we can all acknowledge that.
Well, it sounds better than Gary.
But he was the genius before, but
He
then he
was the
switched it
genius.
up to the Jizza.
Yeah, Gary Grice.
Then why is that? I forgot where we were going. You got me good with the jizz on my back.
I never
But
put
I do
no
have
jizz
it
on your
upside
back.
down. It's a Method Man logo for Mike. This is why 16-year-olds should not be allowed to get tattoos and are not
When
allowed
you do
to
a
get
head
tattoos.
spin. Look, I'm a big
But
Method Man fan.
They didn't ask me for it, but I showed it to Method Man.
Can we see it?
You can't see it through my back hair, unfortunately.
Oh,
it's
that's
really,
nice.
It's really buried
It's in the
there.
Wu-Tang Forest.
It is.
Oh
It
man.
is. But I did when I was a teen, and I didn't have so much back hair. I showed it to Method Man, but he wasn't ready for that. This was before even the second album. So that's how much I love the Wu-Tang Clan. So you're talking about just the first 3 solo albums and 36
You know,
Chambers.
Raekwon and I are very good friends.
I would imagine. There's no rapper that you're not very good friends with, and you're
There's some,
living
I mean,
my childhood dream.
Some I don't know. I met a lot of them from Ness. He's introduced me to a lot. Marco Polo was the one that actually started me down the road of meeting everybody because
Right.
Marco Polo is Canadian. I'm Canadian. He worked with Primo, so he brought Primo around, and then I started meeting everybody this way.
Primo's
Craig
the
G,
best.
I think, was the first guy that I knew. Well, I knew Mr. Complex. You know Corey.
I heard her name.
He's from the Bronx.
Yeah, Mr.
I got
Complex.
me about
Visualize.
face.
Visualize.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I got me about face.
Yeah, I mean, I met
There's a
him.
lot of people.
I met a lot of these guys in the 90s when I was on the radio with Mastermind in Toronto.
So you had a rap radio show.
Mastermind had the radio show, it was the Mastermind Street Jam, and I was just the co-host.
Got it.
I was never signed to the radio station, but I would go in every week.
Well, Bobbito was never technically part of the show either. It was Stretch Armstrong show featuring Bobbito.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. It was Mastermind Street Jam, and then I would DJ while Mastermind was doing the talking at the beginning of the show.
Right.
I'd get the first record, and then Mastermind would jump on the turntables, and then we'd do interviews, and I'd be the guy talking shit in the interview, and I'd be the guy getting us in trouble every fucking time.
You're spicing it up like
Yeah,
starring
every
Buck
time
Wild.
something bad would happen, I would be the guy to get us to a too soon moment.
Like when Big Pun died, they were like, I said it's a very sad day for hip hop, but a sadder day for the pallbearers.
Oof.
And we got hate. We got hate mail from
Well,
that.
this is what happened. That was why when this Britney thing went on, and they were like, their gotcha moment with Justin Timberlake was from Star and Buckwild. I was like, these are the guys that got kicked off the air for making monsoon jokes.
Yeah.
Or tsunami jokes. Yeah. And I was like, it was like, you can't, I was like, he was like a 17-year-old kid, and they were like Big Brother pressuring him into saying that he, boned Britney Spears or whatever. I was like, and plus you had to dig pretty hard to get that Star and Buckwild.
Yeah, but the tsunami stuff was like too soon, Nami.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the week of, right? And they were just they were playing
that's the thing.
I think they played Wipeout, and I remember I was in New York at the time. It wasn't funny, but they were great. When they were on public access,
you
they
could
were
say
unbelievable.
publicly that it wasn't funny, but at the time you were probably laughing. I mean, I know I have a very dark sense of humor, and I'm a comic, so whenever a disaster happens, the first thing I get is texts from other comics making jokes about it, and we giggle our little silly asses off to it, and but we can never share it with the public.
It's unfortunate
because A, it'll get us canceled, and B, it's really dark, and the only people that are going to laugh at it are comics. And since comics won't defend it, they're like,
secret comedy society.
Yeah, it is kind of a secret comedy society. It's like there's records that DJs like that you can't play at a party.
Fact.
Unless it's a room full of DJs, and then who the fuck wants to play that party?
Well, it goes on, and especially as I get older and find myself playing old school hip hop sets for young crowds, and I'm more aware of the lyrics, and they're lyrics that we've been dancing to our whole lives. But then you're sitting there, and then you say it, and you see just the whole room just go like, whoa.
Yeah,
like everyone kind of stops dancing for a second because they've never heard punks jump up to get beat down, and it's just like, there's just
even
hate
in
crimes
Rampage,
in every
remember?
song. And
you blank, no com rapper on a quest. I'm like, wow, we used to just say that. I remember if I think back to my act when I first started in '89, for the first 3 years, I think back to some of the shit I said, and I was like, wow, I just fucking said these things like it was normal shit to say. It was normal shit to say at the time.
Sure, it was.
And you didn't think about, because you weren't thinking about offending anybody. You were just thinking about saying this.
Look, that's like Ultra Magnetic. I just found out they were dissing Run DMC.
oh yeah,
Or what?
Now, Peter Piper held his time.
With them
What
childish
kind of childish rhymes?
Oh,
see, that's what I mean. And it's not
I just
disrespect.
found
It's
that
just
out.
being like, I'm the new hot shit.
Well,
Yeah.
how's that go again?
Down.
Yeah, how's the lyrics start off?
Get down.
Goes-
Party people, your dreams are they were kind of taking a shot at that too. Because they were doing it, they were taking a shot at Tougher Than Leather.
Well, Cool Keith
And,
has
then,
always been one to go as far left as possible, I think,
childish
and try to
rhymes.
break as many rules as he can.
With some pepper in your step, boom.
Man, listen, I heard that record for the very first time at Latin Quarters, man. We slept in the car until, what's the record store that used to be around the corner down the
Music Factory.
Music Factory.
Yeah.
And I bought the record.
Oh
and
wow.
Got back to Philly, and they were selling the shit in Philly. I'm like, what a dummy. I spent the night in the car because I thought like, damn, this is some new shit.
Right.
That's the thing for us was in Toronto, we would drive 8 hours to go to New York just to buy records and come back. Mm-hmm. Like
But
we
you
would
guys
literally.
had some dope, especially on the reggae tip.
Reggae was easy for us to find. We didn't have any problem with reggae.
Mississauga. Huh? Mississauga? Mississauga. Yeah, there was a record store. I used to get all my.
There was a few reggae records. There's one in my hometown in Brampton. There was Dell's Barbershop right beside it, and there was the record store right there.
So
Right.
your hometown was Brampton?
Mm-hmm.
See, that sounds like YG saying something that's something else, right? Yeah, like it's Crampton, but I'm from Brampton. Yeah.
It was Brampton. You know who's from Brampton? Let me tell you who's from Brampton, other than myself. Michael Cera,
There you go.
Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall,
Yeah. Canadians of note.
Little X, the director.
Excellent. Little X was like the other Hype Williams kind of, right? Yeah.
And he's still very popular, very relevant. He does all Drake videos now.
Yeah.
And
Director X now.
Director
right?
X now,
Yes.
because he's a grown man.
I'm not little. I like when people stop being little.
Well, it's funny because I've known him so long. I've known him since he was 12 years old. So I've always called him by his government name. I still call him Julian when I say.
Well, Little Kim is now just known as Kimberly.
Is she?
No, I don't know.
No. Well, she should be known as Catwoman because she don't look like Lil' Kim no more.
That's another human. I
Are
don't know who
you
that is.
crazy?
You must know Lil' Kim Ness.
Yeah, last time I seen Lil' Kim, she performed in the Bronx.
But you know her though?
Yeah, I mean, it's
You know she's Allie's favorite in the entire world.
Oh, for real?
Oh my God. Allie, any fucking Lil' Kim song, Allie knows every word and dance move to it.
That's
I didn't
awesome.
know that.
Oh yeah.
Good
That's
to know
her.
that.
That's her
some-
Michael Jackson.
Some of the album cuts on her second album are really. She had one where she sampled Little Louis French Kiss. Yeah, exactly.
Not that I'm aware
And
of it,
it's
but
called
if I
like
did.
goodness. It's like goodness gracious the paper. Well, after Biggie died and wasn't writing her lyrics anymore, she just had to take ones that existed.
Oh yeah.
Those are really interesting to listen to. Have you guys ever heard the Biggie? He would write the tracks for
yeah, I
her
got
and lay
those.
down the verses.
Yeah.
And so to listen to him about
follow tracks.
aggressively sucking dick.
Fucking listen.
I used to be scared of the dick. Like, you're like holy shit.
No
horrifying.
to the shit. That's my girl's
With
favorite
no
song.
pauses and no AOs.
That's my girl's favorite song in the world.
Biggie singing
No,
Big Mama
Lil'
thing?
Kim's version.
That's my favorite song is Biggie singing.
And the joke with her and I is that
Big Mama thing, was produced by Stretch Armstrong.
really,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
I
I
didn't know
didn't
that.
know that either.
He did. He looped it right up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my girl's favorite song on the entire world. You play it and she loses her shit, and because because I'm a degenerate male, I cue pointed take it in the butt, and every time. And when I'm playing it, I keep looking. I go, take it in the butt, take it in the butt, take it in the. And she's like, nope, not gonna happen. I'm like, well, what the fuck did I put a ring on your finger for?
These are questions all men must ask themselves at some point.
Yes, at some point. Listen, this was a really long episode, and it took a long time to get going, but I'm glad it did get going. And I'm glad Cash Money spoke at some point. I think that's great.
Well, I
Even if it was about his balls, I mean,
was.
we'll take it. I want to thank Lord Finesse for dropping in on this one. This is
Yes.
nice.
Yes,
Lord
yes.
Finesse is a resident here, so there's no episode where you're like, oh, Lord Finesse. No, he lives here, so he's bound to drop in. And I always like when Finesse is here because he always drops these little gems that you didn't know. And we had the Jizzaback Mike B here tonight, and DJ Steelballs Cash Money. This was a fun episode of Culturally Canceled with myself, Russell Peters. I'm sure we're going to edit this down to a good 15 minutes, and it's going to be great.
Solid. Solid.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.